Ladies and gentlemen,
How many weeks out are you? 13? Is it 13 weeks?
No, it's 10 weeks. 10 weeks from Friday.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, already at a halfway point. That's wow, 2 times flying, bro.
Bro, I remember like yesterday when Joe and Paul started, and the show is
Yeah.
next week. This shit, time no wait for nobody, bro. So
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. So like, wait, what are you weighing right now?
my last check in 272. 272.
That's you've already dropped 30 pounds. That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, because everybody different. Like Joe was kind of this year. Joe was kind of able to go nice and slow. For me, it's like out the gate, I gotta be pushed hard just to make sure. Because to me, I do lose quick, even though is the calories do get low, but it does lose fast until like the last 10 pounds. So
Yeah.
it's weird when I talk about like my metabolism stuff. Like if you go to my gym, people are like, it looks like you got lean pretty quick, which is true in some ways, but then that last bit. So like we can't go slow and then wait for the last 10 pounds. For the last 10 pounds is what takes forever, and you
Those
want
glutes to come in, bro. It takes like forever.
exactly, and then I learned from last year, you also want to do it in a way that gives you time to not have to rush it. Because
Yeah.
if you try to get that last 10 pounds off in 2 weeks, that's when the diet is so extreme that you usually end up getting smaller and not even sharper. So
Yeah. It's like like that's how natural bodybuilders do it. They
Mhm.
kind of we kind of push because, enhance
Get away with a little more.
you can take a little bit more abuse, right? Yeah, you can take a
Yeah,
little bit more suffering, but like naturally it's like you can't push like that out the gate. It's got to be very, very gradual, or
sure.
the person's just going to lose all of their muscle, like just show up like anorexic and shit on stage. You don't want that.
You'll lose
So
everything.
yeah.
Even the advanced guys now are getting smarter because guys would be pure like fat off season and then only take 12 weeks back in like the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
Now, usually the average is like about 20 weeks actually. And
Yeah.
and guys are already leaner to start, and they still take 16 weeks is like the minimum now, right?
Yeah.
And I know guys that take more. I mean, for me, I've done preps longer than 20 weeks. You know, I've done what 23, 24 week preps. I think I think it was a little overkill because that
Yeah.
means you're just way too fucking fat. You
Yeah,
shouldn't.
20, dude, 24
Come
weeks,
on,
dude.
man.
By the time the show comes around, you're just like, man, fuck this shit. Like, let's let it just end, bro.
Bro, that's what you don't want. By show day, it
Yeah.
wasn't like, yeah, let's do this, let's win. By show day, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm tired of this shit. I just
Done.
want to just be over with. Bro,
Yeah.
I couldn't even watch anything bodybuilding. Like by the end, I was like, I don't want to know about the Olympia. Don't tell me about nothing. I'm like, I would see a gym. Like if I watch and see a bodybuilder on TV, I'd get nauseous. Like I was over it. I was like, no more bodybuilding for the next three months. I threw out all my tilapia and garbage. Tilapia and garbage. So, so that's overkill, bro. That's half the year, bro. For one
It's half the
fucking
year.
show.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Because that happened to me my first prep when I competed in like the IPO OCB, like naturally. I did like a 26-week prep, bro. And by the time I was done, I was exactly like you said, bro. I was just like, I don't even care if I lose. Like, I just want this to be over.
You're done with. Done with. There was no like confidence, like, yeah, this is my show. There was no like
Nah.
I didn't care about the results. I'm like, I made it, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
That's not where you want to be mentally. I kind of
Yeah.
I kind of wish I would have done like a natural prep.
Yeah.
I think like I see the benefits in that now as a coach, just because you want to learn it the other way around. You don't want to learn like how to use gear first before you learn how to get stage ready.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just mentally it's different.
Because people don't want to admit it, but it's actually true. Like prepping completely natural to get bone shredded versus enhanced, you can get away with a little bit more enhanced. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure.
Plus, like when you're on clean and stuff like that, bro, that cardio, sometimes you can keep going on that cardio, like it doesn't matter, like, because you're enhanced. So there's other things there to kind of help you get through versus when it's pure natty, bro, like, dude, some days you're just like, man, this is killing me. Like legit, I'm dying, because your test levels are garbage. Your joints are hurting just like anyone else. And you still, when you're natty, you actually still, just like enhanced, you still have to like train as heavy as hell. Or if you don't train heavy, you don't have any kind of anabolics in play to actually preserve your muscle tissue. You're going to lose it all.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that's why I feel like guys that I only did like one prep natty before, but guys like Sean Clarita that competed natural for a while, Jose Raymond, you notice when they transition over, those guys are always peeled no matter what. Like they know how to suffer, bro. They know how to suffer. So it's yeah.
Because you only have two variables, training and diet. So you gotta maximize it, What's up, Zayd?
Yeah.
What's going on, boys? What are you doing?
Oh, just talking shop, talking shop.
Say, did you get a haircut or something? You're looking groomed, bro. You're looking really groomed.
Really? No.
Yeah, your beard and everything. Yeah, you look good.
I think his beard just grew in.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah,
you look good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. How was New York Pro in person?
Oh yeah, Ken is the only one there that was there in person.
I mean, you guys want to get into it right now, or there's a lot.
We'll wait until Joe comes on.
Yeah. I mean, okay. What I will ask is, being there in person versus pictures and videos you see online, is there a big difference? You feel like?
Yes,
Definitely.
One thing I will say is Martin doesn't translate on video or pictures at all. If you were there in person, Martin was actually he was more conditioned than even Nick.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, like in person, his hamstring and glutes was like Phil Heath-esque.
Yeah.
Like Phil Heath-esque. Like he was peeled, like his chest striations, like when he would do a most muscular, the chest was split right through the middle. And when you see it online on the stream, it's like, oh, it's just a little bit of, it's a deep fucking, like, it's like all the way to the fucking heart, bro. Like it was like, he was legit peeled. I've never seen Martin compete before. I don't know if he looked like that in Texas before, but I was legitimately impressed. I mean, it was a 1-point decision. People have it. A lot of people that I talked to there had Martin winning. A lot of people had Nick. So this wasn't no blowout type of show, in person. And New York crowd, Beatty, bro, it was nuts. Like people were standing, screaming, dude, the house was wild yesterday. Like there hasn't been a New York Pro like that since 2014 when Dexter Rowley, Nathan, all those guys came over here. Like who's who in the industry. I don't think I've even seen Jim Mannion at the New York Pro in the last 4 years. Jim Mannion was there, Jake Wood was there, all those guys were there. Like it was a top show, man. Top show.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say, yeah, okay. So one thing I noticed is that some people are kind of making it sound more like, oh, if it was this close, that means like, oh, Nick wasn't his best or dropped the ball. I disagree. I think that actually just means Martin is way better than people thought. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Nick dropped anything. I think Martin is just that fucking good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it from that perspective. Like, well, if Martin's this close, what does that say for Nick? I saw it like, if Martin's actually this close, what does that say for Martin? Right? I think Martin is just okay. There were the podcasts where I think we talked about, does Martin beat Hunter, and I think we all said, yeah, I think so. I think he can actually, you know what I'm saying? And then now I'm like, well, where did that put Martin at the Olympian? I'm like, if Brandon is that same Brandon, I think Martin beats that Brandon. And I'm like, if Andrew looks like last year and is not peeled, Martin's over him too. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, you got Hottie, Derek, Samson, Nick. Martin could be a top 5, top 6 guy. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah, but that's how I feel. But that's how I felt after Detroit. But now I feel like most people could see it that way. Andrew would have to be like legit, because Hunter almost beat Andrew. Andrew would have to be legit peeled and big enough for it to translate. I just don't think that that's going to be the case this year. I think it's going to take maybe a little longer, but I got to be honest. I think Martin is that guy. It's good, Eric. Good, fam.
What's up, Eric?
How you guys
What's up,
doing?
Eric?
Doing good.
Pretty
How are
good.
you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah,
Oh, we
course.
fucking honored to have you on, brother. We just getting into it right now because Ken was there in person, so I'm interested to see like what that looked like in person, right, versus online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think Martin is the worst. It's like Pokemon, right? Like you have a weakness, fire and water, or whatever. Like Martin is like the worst person for Nick to go against, because typically Nick usually wins based on muscularity and conditioning, right? So he bullies people. You're not going to be more conditioned than Nick, and you're not going to outmuscle Nick. That's typically how he kind of beats people, right?
Yeah.
With Martin, the difference is Martin, he couldn't outcondition Martin because Martin was just as peeled, right? And then Martin has no weaknesses, but he's really muscular for his size. I think Martin, I watched the pod with the Menace podcast. Martin was 235 going into the show. For 235, that is, he's full blown. You know what I mean? For that weight, his muscularity was right on point. So like compared to like a guy like Samson or Andrew, where they're a little taller and bigger than Nick, but he exposes them on conditioning. With Martin, it's kind of like there was nothing to really exposing them on, and they were kind of similar in height. So that's why it was a lot closer. If you put it in an Olympia lineup where everyone else is there, right? That's where, kind of Nick kind of shines a little bit more, because there's a little bit other bodies there where it's like, okay, Martin is not as big as Andrew or Samson, but Nick is just as big as them, but he's out conditioning them. So he stays here and Martin's here, right?
Yeah.
Versus when you just put two of them together, look at them objectively, it's kind of like, you can kind of give this one to Martin. Like, I don't think if Martin won this show, I don't think anyone would have really, really complained, because he was lights out. Like Martin was lights out. I was highly impressed when I
He
saw
was
him.
on.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like when you're really good for a long time, the allure starts to fade a little bit, and maybe you don't get as much love and respect as you used to?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
example,
It's a top of the mountain kind of thing, right? Like, especially with Nick, who's like, people love to hate because of his structure. He doesn't have as much flow. He's not as aesthetic as Martin. And you got this guy, it's up and coming. It's kind of had like this redemption arc, right? After his like comments after losing to Andrew, takes a good off season, comes back better than ever. And he's kind of the new kid on the block. I think it's always the allure. I mean, people wanted to see Ronnie lose when he was towards his end. People wanted to see Phil lose when he was at his end, even though he was like one of the most beloved bodybuilders throughout, like especially his early years. So it's like the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody wants to fucking see them win right now. It's like,
yeah. Okay, so Nick has been the most popular American bodybuilder since like 2021. And he's still, he's still Nick Walker, but I think he reached a point where people almost maybe don't want to see him he's not the underdog anymore, put it like this. When he was the underdog, it was, but I gotta be, it's kind of subconscious, right? Because you're looking at Nick and he's huge and shredded and you're aware of that. But then you're looking at Martin like, holy fuck, damn, look at this dude, look at his waist, and rightfully so, because Martin fucking knocked it out the park. But I think after a while, when somebody stays on top, you start to pay more attention to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
I still feel like Nick deserved to win, for sure. But what I think we talked about this, just being this close to Nick is a win for Martin, right? Because we said the Drake Kendrick beef, right? If you're on top, the only thing you can do is just stay there or move down. So the only way Nick was gonna like stay exactly the same was if he blew them out the water, right? That was the only way Nick could win the media, if he completely demolished him. He couldn't just win. So because he won, that's not going to be enough for people. They got, you know what I'm saying? So this to the media, it comes off as like a win for Martin, and it is though, because Martin, this is his first time even going to the O. You know, so it's one of those things that very well deserved, but then Nick probably won't get the love that he deserves because it's also, you know, he's been on top for a minute.
I think Ken made such a good point about how you can't conflate this and say, okay, so now Martin, he stood next to Nick and only lost by a point. Now he's probably going to be fourth in the Olympia. Like, that's not how this stuff works. Like, yes, maybe side by side when there's no other people there, but then you throw in, you know, improved Andrew Jack and Samson. You know, I think he's going to look he won't be as comparable to those other guys when that time comes. I think he should be happy with, you know, even an 8th place finish at the Olympia. I think would be such a tremendous result for him. Top 10. I just don't think people are already saying like, oh, Martin could be top 3. I mean, I just don't think he's there quite yet. Like you said, from a muscularity perspective, if he muscles up and gets up to like 245, 250 stage weight with that condition, he's up there in the top 3 for me, honestly.
Yeah, and he beat a top 8 guy, so he's definitely in the mix, you know. Beating Tonio is also a great deal, you know, because he's never been beaten Tonio before. That's his first time.
The only thing about that is last year we were missing a lot of people, right? We're missing Nick,
sure.
You know, Nick and Bonak and Brett and Beiruz and Ian is retired, but so like that. Very true, and I still believe he's the top 8 guy for sure. But just with the bodybuilding math, that might be skewed because the lineup is going to be deeper. What Ken said is that okay, everybody in the first call out was like a short, stockier guy. I guess besides Tony was not stocky, but shorter guy. So Martin lost to Andrew in the past, which, you know, it wasn't a blowout. You know, but just seeing the different physiques, right? Because Martin is aesthetic next to Nick. Yeah, Martin is aesthetic next to Nick, but next to Andrew, not as aesthetic, right? So you won't see that much. So when he stands next to the Andrew and the Samsons, I think that's what makes it difficult. I think Martin made more progress than possibly Andrew, but we haven't seen Andrew compete yet, so it's hard to say. I could see him leapfrogging Andrew unless Andrew is peeled, you know. But if Andrew is in Texas shape or more, that's when it gets difficult. Hunter has some of the same strengths as Martin, maybe not as small as the waist, but I mean for his size, you know, still pretty small.
People are sleeping on Hunter, man. I'm just telling you, like, I mean, he's big, dude. He's pretty huge now. Like, if he comes in, like, I mean, realistically, he could be 275 on stage. You know, that's just absurd.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's say this. Go ahead.
So Nick, Hunter and Martin are very comparable, right? In that mix-up, where Hunter doesn't really have any weaknesses either, and he has the muscularity. But sometimes, like Hunter and Andrew, right? That was like a neck-to-neck show. And that was like apples and oranges, right? Hunter basically lost that show based on posing stamina. Yeah. But then they got to the Olympia and it was a little bit different, right? You have Crizzo, you have Andrew, you have Samson. The stature of those guys kind of started to come into play because even Martin, right? Martin's a lot more complete than Crizzo, but the stature, Crizzo's like 6'1" or 6 foot. He's tall, right? And he's got big arms, and you know, so it's like when that stature starts to come into play, and there are other guys that are similar in that height, you start to really see how much there's a difference in size between them versus a show like the New York Pro, and that's what makes Derek so special, is that They're
You kind of
they're
froze
they're
for a
so
second.
complete. They're so complete and conditioned. Oh snap! Can you hear me?
I think it might just been you, buddy, because I've been hearing him
Oh,
all.
okay.
I can hear him too.
Yeah,
It was a little delay. My bad.
yeah. Derek and Hadi are so special because they're just like Martin, but they come with such exceptional conditioning and they have very few weaknesses that even when you put them in a lineup with guys that are like 6 foot and up, they still stand out. Um, which I don't know how they do it. I'll be honest. I still don't know how they do it. They have that effect, but it's a very difficult thing to do. And that's why I keep saying it, where Derek and Hadi are kind of in their own league right now, and everyone else is kind of just chasing them.
Yeah, it's the combination of extreme shreddedness and shape.
Yeah.
When you have those two, 10 out of 10, no one's going to have a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like Martin can compare really well to Derek. They have very similar weaknesses or similar strengths. They're both very peeled. The glutes are out of this world, you know, very big back and thick. But Derek, I think, is a little wider, so he would get him there.
That's what the missing link is. What Ken said, how do they do it? I think it's the width. I think it's the width. I think they're so wide. Like Hadi doesn't look small next to Samson, bro. And Samson is fucking huge structurally and muscularity, right? And he doesn't look small. So it's like, how do you not look small next to Samson at 290 on stage? Part of it is the width, the condition, the whole nine. So I think Martin compares well to those guys actually, but he's not as wide. Okay, here's the thing. Because Derek has such good shape, he doesn't get enough credit for his size, bro. Right? It's like, oh, he's a shape guy. But Derek is huge, bro. I don't want to hear about the weight, scale weight. I don't care about that. He's fucking huge. He's wide.
Now you don't care about scale weight, huh? Okay. Fuck. It's always that way. Yeah. Well, somebody else.
Derek's short though, bro. Derek's shorter. It's a little different. No. But it's one of those things that, bro, he's huge, man. And if you say, well, Derek's bigger than Martin, it sounds funny, but visually, I mean, he is, which is crazy to think about. But Derek and Hadi are huge. Think about Hadi and Derek next to Nick. They didn't look undersized at all.
No,
they honestly didn't. They just looked like they had better shape. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Now to go back to Hunter versus Martin, right? The trade-off is can you guys hear that when I get like a email and stuff? Did you guys hear that? Oh, perfect. The trade-off is they're both very similar strengths, whatever, no weaknesses. The difference is Hunter edges him a little bit on size, and then Martin edges a little bit on condition, right? So I believe if Hunter doesn't match his condition, Martin beats him. And if Martin isn't comparable somewhat size-wise, then Hunter can beat him. I think those guys are gonna be like the battle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, even though Hunter last year was 7th?
6th.
I think this all depends on how they look this year. But my thing is this. Okay, when you guys think about the amount of talent in the IFBB right now, do you think Andrew will be able to get top 5 again? In that, if he comes in the condition that he was at Olympia last year, do you think they will let that slide for top 5 again?
No.
I don't think there's any way. I don't think there's
any
way.
No.
Yeah, no.
Guys are too good for that.
And same thing goes for Brandon Curry, honestly.
100%. I love these guys. Don't get me wrong. I love Brandon and Andrew's physique. 2 of the best physiques in the IFBB. But this is the top of the top. Guys are way too good and way too peeled. I don't think you can let somebody come in with like softer glutes and hams and then beat these top 5 guys. I don't think that can happen again. Even with Samson, if Samson it doesn't nail it, I think he's going to start to move down. Guys are way too peeled right now. That doesn't slide. So a guy like Martin comes like this, I don't think that Andrew from last year is going to be able to slide. He's just too peeled, bro. And dude, that's how it should be. It's the best of the best.
You said it exactly. The level of the depth of talent right now is insane. Like I haven't seen a pro show in recent times where they start the group comparisons, and they're actually two rows, like two rows of pros. It's not just one standing. There's like a row here, and then there's another row. It's almost like it's like the Olympia 98, right? Where it's like there's like 30, 40 guys in there. That was the level at the New York Pro. And everyone in that top 10, even the guys out of the top 10, there were maybe like 3 guys out of over 17 guys of that show that weren't peeled. That's how crazy the depth of talent and conditioning people currently are, you know. So I don't know. I think we're really in another golden age of bodybuilding. People aren't going to see this till about 15 years from now.
Always.
Yeah, we're literally in another golden age of bodybuilding. Like the amount of talent that's in there right now. I mean, back in the day, a guy with enough shape and didn't have enough size would be looked at as like, you know, oh, God's greatest gift. These days, if you don't have the size and you have good shape, you're just like anyone else. There's nothing special about you. You know, everyone in that top 4 has good shape. You know, everyone had good shape. So it's like what are you going to say? Tonio is known as the shape guy, and Tonio didn't even stand out for his symmetry and his aesthetics in that lineup.
Oh, speaking of Tonio, well, we talked about this on the episode. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about we don't want to see the vacuum on Tonio. His abs are too good.
I said it.
And his torso is too long, right? Not too long, but it looks you don't want to elongate it anymore. So the vacuum, I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps his front poses at all. I think his front pose. Okay, let's go to this was last year in New York Pro without the vacuum. I think the front poses looked better last year. Let's see. Well, this is this year. I like saying, oh damn, he don't pin it anymore. Okay, but yeah, I thought his front poses actually looked better without the vacuum, which, you know, that's not the vacuum. It doesn't make everybody's physique better. You know, like we said, we don't want to see Dexter Jackson hit a vacuum because abs is, you know, where it needs to be. So
that's what
also you got to remember, he's not crunching down on those abs next to Nick. You know, he's going to definitely expose himself with the size. He has a better shot elongating his front double bicep next to Nick, who crunches down on it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not going to be able to beat him on muscularity, especially in the arms. You know,
not crunching down, but like last year he didn't crunch down, but he didn't pull a vacuum neither. It was like in between, right?
Kind of like
you still want to show your abdominal development. Like Tonio's abdominal development is really good. It's almost like Andrew Jack planning to hit a vacuum. Like, what's the point? Like, bro, your abs are good enough. Like Tonio has an 8-pack. Like, I don't see any reason why he needs to hit like a vacuum on stage. I noticed he was blasting full though yesterday. Like, if you notice, like even when he flexes the abs, you could tell like he was blasting full yesterday when I saw him in person. So maybe it would have helped him here, but typically like a standard Tonio, dude, there's no reason. Just hit those ab shots. Like your abs are good.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing I was seeing is that like there was definitely he didn't have as much detail even in that ab and thigh when he crunched it down, because I think there was some distension there. Maybe he's just trying to fill up too hard, push food, and you can see it also in the side try when he hits it. It's like you can see his kind of like lower abdominals are pushing out a little bit more, and I think that's just what it came down to. Is like it didn't look as good crunched yesterday. I think he was just trying to probably fill out to try to meet some of these guys that are 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds more than him.
I agree.
Yeah. Plus, there's you always want to do the thing that Nick is not doing, because you can't beat him at whatever he's doing, in my opinion. So you want to find that one thing that Nick can't do, and you have to do that next to him. Maybe the judges would go for it. You know what I mean? If they favor a vacuum, they might go his way. But if they favor abs, he's not gonna get it, even if he crunched down. You know?
Ken is right. Ken didn't say it, but go ahead and say it, Ken. What you was gonna say?
I think you should just play your own game. There's no point. There's no point trying to play a different game. You play to your strengths.
100%.
When you try to play other people's games, that's when you start to lose. So
100%.
A guy like Tonio, there's no point in playing the size game if you know that you're an aesthetic beast. You play to your strengths. That's how it works.
I get what Zayd is trying to say. I agree if it happens naturally. If like Martin just happens to be what Nick doesn't have, right? But he's not trying to play into it. He's just being Martin. I don't believe you should even think about your competition. Maybe it sounds dumb, but I think when people start thinking about the competition, this is what happens. Tonio, I feel like him and his coach was thinking about, these are big guys. So let's come in blasting full. Okay. Now, in this particular show, would it have made any difference? He wasn't going to be higher than third. So, I don't think it really, at the end of the day, it didn't end up mattering. But that being said, if he would have just did the same thing he always does, come in peeled in detail, it would have been a better look still. So, I guess Jay said do the opposite, which would be coming even more peeled. I could see that potentially benefiting, but what if you come in flat? So it's like, just do what you do. Don't even think about Nick. Don't think about Martin. Don't think about anybody. Tonio is the peel detail guy. He's bubbly. Just continue to do what you do. Easier said than done, right? Because now if he came in flat, we probably would have he should have filled out. So it's always easier said than done. But they definitely went for a fuller look. He wasn't as detailed as he was. But in his defense, he came in detailed in Brazil and still, he wasn't big enough, right? So him and his coach are going to try to learn, right? Nick came in peeled at Arnold, lost to Samson. Now he comes in fuller, and then, he's not hard enough. So it's like they're just listening to the feedback, So this is what the feedback was. He needs to be bigger. So can you really blame them? No. But third, I don't think third. I think third was the highest that he was going to get today, regardless of what he looked. But I thought he looked phenomenal. I think Tony always looked phenomenal, right?
Oh, yeah, he looked tremendous.
His looks amazing, dude.
Like a superhero, dude, like an action figure.
Well, let me not answer the question for you guys. Do you think if he was 10% sharper, he beats Martin?
No.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't think so, because Martin is too thick.
Exactly.
I think he has too much density.
I think it's I think too much density. I think Martin, I think is it's so much balance. Like nothing's really missing, and especially, I mean, Tonio's got crazy sweeps, but I think he just he looked a little outsized, especially in the quads and then from the side as well. I think that's where Tonio loses a lot of ground. Is front shots are absolutely insane, and then back shots are insane, but when he turns to the side, I think he loses, especially in like the arms, chest, side leg. He gets kind of bullied by, especially like, let's say a Nick or even like Stu was Martin. Stu was looking good from the side.
Okay.
What do you guys think of Stu, by the way?
I was just about to say that.
He impressed us,
So by himself, he looked more aesthetic than I thought he would look. Now in the lineup, he looked bigger than I thought he was going to look. I swear, like frame-wise, by his frame, he looked like the biggest frame guy in the first call-out. And I wasn't sure that was going to be the case. I had a feel. I think we talked about that in the group chat. I was like when I saw like those outside pictures, I'm like, damn, he might be the biggest guy in the fucking lineup.
Dude, it looked like he was standing 3 inches ahead of the line, and everyone that's how big he looked next to everyone else. I had to look twice. I was like, wait, am I? And I looked, and he's on the line with everyone else. It was just like a supersized guy next to everyone else. It's so strange.
We always joke about it, but his head is really that big. That by himself, he looks big though. He looks big by. I guess the hair makes it even worse, right? By himself, he looks huge. Okay, but in the lineup, I'm like, holy fuck, this guy is legit. He legit looked like the biggest guy in the lineup. In the first call out to me, and that's really shocking. And kudos to Stu, because he started the prep flat. Remember, he was so flat to the point that we got a little nervous. We're like, Stu, man, the show is in 10 weeks, brother. Why are you already why you look 2 weeks out, but they put it together, the abs and thighs is crazy. Now Stu says he doesn't train abs, right? Do you think he can benefit from training abs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he'll say it himself too. He says it himself too, like because his ab and thigh is one of his best shots. And
Sure.
if that was like, if he had like developed abs in that shot, like I think he would kill a lot of people in that shot alone, you know?
How much do you really think that ab training is indicative of how your abs appear on stage? Because I think, I mean, you'll see guys from their amateur days to like when they're like top level pros, the ab structure and depth tends to be the same. Like, I would say maybe Nick's the exception because he trains them so often, they're so fucking dense. But like for
Yeah.
most guys, what I've seen throughout the career, like everything else on their physique changes. But like Andrew's always had those abs. I would be hard
Mhm.
pressed to see him in his 20s and say like he didn't already have that kind of like ab structure. So I don't think the structure is going to change. You see how
No,
he's got a little bit of
structure.
that like kind of like little thing that Hunter has on his lower abdominal. Like no matter
Mhm.
how, you can't train that off. He's not going to do like 10,000
So
leg raises and get more developed there. It's like it's just maybe more depth, but I just don't think that's going to be the case
A game
personally.
changer.
so Eric,
Yeah.
the reason why I think is and a lot of bodybuilders, I think it's a pretty common thing. A lot of bodybuilders do not train abs.
No.
That's just the truth. It's not a modern day thing. It happened a lot even in the 90s, no matter what they tell you. A lot of bodybuilders just don't train abs. And you know, yeah, the structure of it is not going to change, but the actual development of the abdominal wall will change. That's why Nick has blocky abs. The reason why Andrew's abs are so good is because you can tell Andrew was one of those beach guys training doing sit-ups for days, right? Like even when he was before he transitioned over to competitive bodybuilding. So everything is just supersizing up. And that's why physique guys, I think we had this conversation like 2 weeks ago. And I was talking about this same thing about being supersized, but it actually makes sense. That's why I mean, most physique guys, they all have abs, dude, like because they trained them. A lot of open guys, we just don't train abs typically.
Mhm.
And I think that's just the reason why.
So okay, so a few things. You're both right. You know, you're both right. I think it's both, bro. I think first and foremost, genetics are always number one. There's nothing Stu can do to have Andrew's abs. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah.
Same way, there's nothing I can do to have Zayd's calves. It's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I think genetics is the strongest part. I think Stu could improve his abs by training it. To what degree? I think I agree with Eric that I don't think it's going to be so significant that we're going to be like, oh, he's been training abs. But even 5% can help. You want every inch you can get in the sport. So if anything, it's worth a try, right? I mean, you got to try, you know.
Absolutely. Do
You know,
do you guys think that to follow up on that question, do you think you should train your abs in the off season when it is your improvement season to like build that tissue? Or is it more refinement, like in a prep phase when you should be training your abs more to get more maybe separation, more pop? Or do you or is it you treat it like any other muscle group that you really try to, build it in the off season?
I think it depends on the person. Oh, go ahead.
I think you train your abs just like any other muscle. Personally, I think what you have to avoid with ab training is obliques.
Mm-hmm.
So training it in the off season and training him in contest prep, the same exact thing. Just avoiding obliques specifically, because if those get developed, you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
You're screwed. But I do think it's something that you should try to refine, especially in your off season. I'm a big believer.
I think there's a trade-off. If you have really shallow abs to the point that is distracting in the lineup, I think you have to train them all year round. I've done both. When I started competing, at one point I didn't train abs at all, and my waist was so small, bro. It was so tiny, it almost looked weird, right? It was so tiny that it kind of looked funky. Then I did the opposite. I'm like, you know what? I don't want that look. Then I started training abs heavy, the whole stack, crunches all year long. Then I had these crazy block abs. For me, ab training does make a huge difference. Like it's very evident because I kind of have bubbly muscles, short bubbly muscle bellies. So the abs just pop the fuck out. And it almost got too much. Okay, last year for the USAs, I started the prep training abs heavy. And Janicki saw me at the gym. I did have some digestive issues, granted, but my abs was popping out, bro. Like like to the point I don't think it looked good. You remember? Like I would have a tank top on and my abs are like popping out like a stomach
through the shirt. Yeah, I get that too. You see it through the shirt. Yeah.
So I actually stopped training it, and then on stage, I didn't have any distension or like you know what I'm saying. I don't want to call it distension. I didn't have that look to my abs. But then, if anything, it was kind of shallow. It was more to the shallow side. So it's like a
body. Let's be honest though, you're either not training at all or you're training heavy as fuck. Like,
I don't know in between.
It's either off or on.
I'm kind of weird when it comes to that, you know. But so now what I'm doing is because I know that about myself, I'll wait until like 10 weeks out, then I train them. So now they're not overdeveloped, but they're not shallow. That's a good balance for me. You know, everybody has to find their own balance, but they are a muscle. So if you really want them to grow, you're gonna have to just train them hard.
If you train them, it's also very important for your posing endurance on the stage to control your midsection. You know, and I like to do high reps, very low weight, because I don't want them to get thicker. For me personally, my abs are thick enough. I just want to get them etched out. Those lines between the abs, I want them deeper and deeper and deeper. I feel these would help you so much in the front shots, especially in the front double or front lat spread. Like James Hollingshead, when he does a front double, you can see his abs. You can't see any of his abs. I feel like this is the perfect person to kind of make sure you train abs 3 times a week, lightweight with higher reps. It gives him more definition, in my opinion. You know? It helps with the posing.
Good old school high reps for the cuts.
It works, dude. Especially when you apply some of those like thermogenic creams. You know, I used to do that all the time.
Oh, Zayd is old school.
Bro, Ronnie Coleman used to apply hemorrhoid cream on his belly before doing abs.
Dude,
that worked for him.
You know what, Eric? I'm probably gonna have to answer this question a year from now because in this offseason, I'm hammering them. I have good ab development already, but I'm like, I want it to be even better. You know, so a year from now, I'll let you know in that pro debut what they look like.
They're gonna look ridiculous as always.
Yeah, Ken got a crazy physique. But okay, here's the caveat. I used to try when I used to train abs heavy. I used to try to pull a vacuum. I never could. And then when I stopped training abs, I was able to pull a vacuum. Right? I think. Well, think about it. Can Nick hit a vacuum? If you have like huge muscular abs, it's kind of difficult, right?
No, it's not. It's so you have your transverse abdominis, and then obviously like your abs that you work that you would be, let's say, training when you're doing like weighted crunches and stuff. So like they're basically agonists. So if you're, what's up, Joe?
Hey Joe,
what's up?
Made it, bro. We're talking about abs, Joe. So you'll be good for this one.
Do you train abs? You train abs, Joe?
Yeah, just got good abs.
Look at this dude's abs. He must.
He don't play around.
Got good abs. Yeah,
he does. But go ahead.
But yeah, so I think the more you focus on, so like I was told as of like, because I have pretty developed abs, especially like being an athlete all my life and playing football through college, like ab training was a lot. We're doing also like heavier compounds, going to build up your abdominals, build up your obliques. So when I got kind of serious about bodybuilding a few years ago, it was like switch over to transverse abdominis. You do more vacuum practice, cut out your ab training. Your abs are developed enough, but what you need to do is actually, like, you know, for especially like you were saying, Zayd, for abdominal control on stage, I think actually having strong transverse abdominis is going to be much more important than, let's say, you know, your abs that you would like crunch down on, like, because like, you know, at the end of the day, abs and for bodybuilding specifically, we're not men's physique. So the two poses I think it really like shows up in is abdominal thighs. And if you're not going to pull a vacuum, it's going to be probably your front double, because, you know, once you hit your lat spread, you know, they kind of hidden behind, you know, you're drawing your chest up. So that's why I don't think they're as important, but in the sense of like transverse abdominis practicing with vacuums, I think Nick has just grown so much. and there's probably just like there's just so much mass and everything else that I think he pulls vacuums in order to try to just keep it flat.
100%. Yeah.
It's like going past that to try to keep it there. Whereas for me,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to go there so I can like pull the vacuum. Probably do the same thing for you. So I think that's the key is for us bodybuilders, unless you just have underdeveloped, I think like Stu could, like you say, benefit from it. But I think you have to work on both, because if you just work on crunches, weighted stuff in the gym, it's actually going to make it harder to pull the vacuum because they're basically going against each other.
I think they help outside of abs and thighs and front double. I think they help your side shots tremendously. Because especially if you do like a side tricep and you have good abdominal development, it doesn't look flat, right? There's actually something to look at outside of the arm when you're doing that pose. It kind of flows, and if you have the serratus to go along with it, I mean that's how hard he's killing everyone, right? It's the serratus. So I think they help a lot of your shots, your front and your side shots, and like you said when we started this podcast earlier, you were talking about people forget with Nick, right? When Nick first came on the scene, everyone was bamboozled by his abdominal development. Like it's almost like people forgot that there was actually abs in bodybuilding until Nick actually got on the scene. People were like, holy shit, like look at the abdominal development of this guy. Like it's insane, right? So I think they help a lot of your shots. Even look at Nick, his side shots, like Nick versus Martin. He was killing Martin on the side shots because of his abdominal development. It wasn't the arm, it wasn't the hamstring sweep. It was when he turns and then the chest and then the abdominals are just like ridges and ridges and ridges. You're just like, fuck, give it to the guy. He wins that shot, So I think they're very important. I think
agree with that, actually, for sure.
They're very important. Yeah.
Now here's the caveat. What if to go back to Eric's point, right? You can't change your abdominal structure. What if you have the shittiest abdominal structure ever? You have a fucking 5-inch gap between your abs. You got like a 4-pack. One is cricket, one is up here, one is down here. Should you grow those abs or be like, fuck it, don't train it and just pull the biggest vacuum you could ever pull?
Let's say Keon, for example.
I didn't want to say it.
Dallas too. Dallas and Carver was like that.
Sorry, Keon. I'm sorry, Keon, but I mean, Keon, his vacuum. Lucky for him, he has a tiny waist and a perfect vacuum, so he pulls that bitch hard. And you know what? It literally looks like he has the best waist in bodybuilding from doing that. Now if he had big ass abs and was crunching down. We would be like, imagine Keon just big ass abs crunching down the front double. You'd be like, whoa. We'd be like, yo, Keon.
It's no longer Keon, right?
that's no. But from what he's doing, honestly, he has some of the best front poses, aesthetic wise that I've ever seen in my life. Same with Derek. Derek doesn't have like a super flawed structure because he does have like an 8-pack. It's just for whatever reason, not even off season, by the time he hits stage, they get a little bit, his upper body in general gets a little bit washed out looking. I think he's flat, bro. I think he's still flat, because we'll see him leading up and we'll see lines and shit through his chest. His abs is popping. His quads are falling around. Something about when he has to get that next level conditioning, something flattens out. I think
it's genetic, bro. If you look at the Pittsburgh guest posing, his chest was the same way, even full blown. If you look at the Pittsburgh guest posing that just happened, his chest wasn't striated, and he was still blasting full. So I think it's genetic. I don't think it's a muscle maturity thing. It's just what you're dealt. He's harder from the back than from the front. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
totally.
That's it. Muscle maturity, I believe, is a thing to a point. But when Hadi was 18, he still had that striated chest, right? And then nobody from the back looks like Derek besides maybe Martin. But Martin is fucking a baby. He's like 27, just turned 27. So it can't be a time thing. Not all the time, sometimes maybe. But it's really genetic, man. I guess to go back to the first point, genetics are undefeated, bro. Genetics are fucking undefeated, bro. You could, there's so much to go when it comes to genetics. What's up, Joe? You made it.
Yeah, I just came from I had a deep tissue appointment. It was a 90-minute one. and I literally left at like 12:10. So I drove home, got my meal ready, and jumped on.
You don't sound as.
Huh?
How you feeling? Do you feel good?
Today I feel good. Yeah, I was a little tired to start the day, but when you keep busy, you kind of like wake up a bit, I guess. The less I do, the worse I feel. But the more I do, the more alive I feel, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. Just get the body moving, going.
Yeah, once I start moving, like if it's once I stop, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. That's why I try to like schedule like deep tissue stuff, like you said, like 1-2 weeks out, just like have some on my calendars to keep going throughout the day, grocery shop, whatever it is. So I keep moving. That's helpful. It's because you start, and then also I can look in the mirror too often and you're be like, oh fuck, I'm so flat. I feel like look like shit.
Yeah,
bro.
Food all the time.
The first time I look in the mirror, I wake up, I'm like, oh shit, damn, look at the lines. By the 10th time, I'm like, I'm fat, I'm small, fucking, bro, it's crazy. The brain is just, you look exactly the same, but your brain is just going in circles, you know what I'm saying? I was just talking to Paul yesterday. Saturday is my only off day. I gotta do something. I gotta train abs or do cardio or something. I just be sitting there waiting for the fucking next meal, and I'm like, yo, I'm hungry, bro. Like through the whole week, I don't think about the hunger. I'm just like, okay, next, I gotta train a client. I gotta, what I'm saying? I gotta do a podcast. I gotta work out, cardio.
Rest days are the worst, bro.
Damn. You should do your posing on your rest days. That's what I do. Hit up Sid or something. Schedule, because he'd run you through like an hour straight of just posing.
I need like 3 hours just to take up my Saturday.
He'd run you through the gauntlet. So probably hit up Sid on your rest days. That's probably the best way.
That could be fun, yeah. Bro, yesterday I swear I would eat. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna take a nap. Take a nap, wake up, fuck, I'm gonna eat again, and then that was the whole day. I didn't want to think about it. I just wanted to, and I'm not even that hungry for the most part, just only on my rest day,
We're such fucking bodybuilders, bro. Like, oh yeah, dude, like pose for a couple of hours. That sounds like fun.
That sounds like fun.
Trying to get occupied.
All right, let's go back to the.
I would say,
okay.
Let's I was gonna say, let's not forget to cover. I was at my surprise of the show, Christian Wolski in 5th. He fucking.
Yeah.
Yo,
you know, it's crazy. When I heard the name, I had no idea who they were talking about. Then I recognized the guy. I was like, this is that aesthetic looking guy that he got big as fuck out of nowhere. I think I seen him a couple of years ago or last year. Did they have him? Or they did him dirty?
I don't even know. I think they did him dirty, honestly.
Damn, he got 5th and he's not even here. Let me see. I think I just followed him though. How you spell his name?
It's with a K, so it's KRY. Chris, there it is.
Boom. I hope he posted something. Okay. Oh, this is a high quality. Okay, let's look at this, bro. Look at this. Is like an oversized classic guy, right?
Yeah.
I saw this photo before the show, and I was like, "Yo, who is this dude? He might like do well." And then, lo and behold, he fucking crushed it. I mean, that shape is
phenomenal, bro.
He's even better from the back. He's even better from the back, which is David told me about him because he's his countryman. And when he first sent me his photos and stuff, I was like, second call out. I don't know. I literally, when we were at the show, I literally messaged David. I was like, I'm sorry, bro. Wolski is legit. He's legit.
You saw those photos and you said, oh, second call out. I saw those photos and I was like, dude, he might push some people in the first. Like, he almost looks like very synonymous with Martin to me in the sense of like that crazy bubbly look, but his quads are even almost like more impressive. I just think he's in the upper body. He needs to work his arms, his lats, his chest, but
it was the chest. It was the chest that did it for me, because especially in the front lat, like his chest kind of just like, if you notice, his chest kind of sinks in. So I was like, these guys are all blasting full at that top call out. So I was like, I don't know. And Tim Budazine, right? Like, he's a blasting full guy too. I was like, I didn't know what this guy's size was going to look like compared to the rest of them. But when he came out, I just messaged David instantly. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Shit. This guy's legit.
Bro, this is where the league has gone. This look, 3-4 years ago, wins 60, 70% of the pro shows. This
100%.
goes to Olympia. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, imagine this look now is what, 5th place or 6th? What did he get?
5th.
This is 5th at the New York Pro now, which is, this could I won
Crazy.
the year Blessing won. With all due respect to Blessing, this is what I won the New York Pro. Like, let's be real, you know.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I say 10 more pounds up top, because everything's there. Structure's there, width is there. If you can add 10 pounds up top to lats, chest, arms, delts, I think he's a top 10 Olympian in my eyes. Like, just seeing him up there and quality stream, like it was so like, but you could see it, the arms, the lats, chest, like you said, when he opens up in the front lat or the front double, it's not there yet, but like, dude, just imagine that with another, even just 5 to 7 pounds of tissue from the waist up. It's a dangerous package.
Yo, look at his caption. This is exactly what I was thinking. Nobody tag me or share my photos with good quality, so I will do this. I am Christian Wolski from
That's just funny.
Gilco, come on, bro. Somebody snap a picture. The dude is top 5, bro. Get this guy an HD picture, bro. Come on.
It's true. That's mess. If you notice, they stop at Stu. They just stop at number 4. They don't show top 5. Usually they try to. Bro. That's messed up. Yeah. We gotta do better. And then if we don't know somebody and then they place well, yeah, we gotta show. You know what? Let's get him on the podcast. He speaks. I didn't have to translate that. Right? Oh, I don't know. Get David on. Get David.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him on with David, because I don't like when people don't get love and they're doing their thing, right? Well, you don't got to be popular. You don't got to have 1 million followers, to get love. You should be able to get love just from looking good. I don't know.
I see that video, the reel where he did the back, that's like the posing down, that one.
This one. Holy fuck. Yeah. I mean, he looks big here.
Yeah.
He looks good, bro. I mean, this looks like a really big classic guy to me, which is, I think that's a compliment.
He looks more like, I wouldn't say he looks like a big, I mean, it's a very good, nice compliment, but I would say he looks like a really aesthetic 212 guy. That's
what I was thinking.
That's blown up. I think he needs glutes. I think maybe a little, his hamstrings a little, or his quads are dominant over his hamstrings. So, dude, one solid off season, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I mean, he could even win a pro show this year if he shows up a little bit more full. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't know what his plans are.
Not at all. Yeah.
Especially, I mean, chest is such a fun body part to train. So he doesn't look like someone I'm sure he's freaking benching hard, right? I'm sure the guy probably benches 3 or 4 plates, but yeah, I feel like if his chest came up, the other things, I agree with you, Eric, but like his chest is the only thing that's like glaring, when you look at him straight on. If that came up, ooh, forget about it. This guy's winning shows.
I would tell him
left
to
and
stop
right.
Benching if he was benching.
I know, right? Just doing
you and I are going to be
of course you would.
Yeah, just
flies,
do it, bro.
You gotta do flies, right? Right?
100%, baby. Blow that shit up.
All right. So what do you guys think about Nick's overall package? Was this one of his best looks? Was it mid? Was it one of his worst looks? What do you guys think?
I watched so many videos between yesterday and today. Like, I've watched some like comparison between this and the 22 Olympia. I didn't see personally. I was trying so hard because I love Nick. Like, him and I are good friends at this point, and I was just trying. Other than the hamstring development, especially in that right leg, obviously the one that he didn't injure, that was a lot more prominent. I think the back lat spread as a whole looked better. I couldn't almost see any difference in his other shots. I was trying so hard. Side chest, front double. You could even argue that the legs are even a little bit downsized from 22 if you were to look at it side by side. So I don't think he was as peeled as he has been. I don't think personally he should set up like this. I think it's a bad way to set up for his first shot. You're basically like pushing down and out on your abs before he pulls them down. Like, this is nice right there, but like those transitions, like, sure, they don't show up in the photos, but they show up to the judges and on the stream and on the videos. Like, they're not judging. These judges aren't judging off of photos. And like, I think that's literally what pushed Nick in the show, was the fact that like in those transitions, like he almost pushes it down and out and wide, and then he crunches down. Maybe it's a necessity for him to do that, but it just, for me, it's distracting, and it's hard to like get it out of your head, even though he hits the pose. But yeah, I think that honestly, looking back at probably 23 Arnold, was a good look for him. I think he was a little, like you said, it was a little downsized, and he's got to play the size game, but he was so freaking peeled there. And I think it was kind of splitting hairs between him and Samson. But yeah, I would say, I wouldn't say this is his best look. I was expecting him to just like blow everybody away based on, obviously, the size difference, based on the poundage. He said how much bigger he was. It didn't look it to me personally. I could just be like missing something. I don't know what you guys think.
Eric, it's funny you said that, because I was thinking something similar. I still believe his best look was that Arnold that he lost, which is kind of funny to say. And Nick has said that in the past. He still believed that was his best look. I don't know if he said it after this show, but he said that in the past. Now, that being said, the judges disagreed. They said come in fuller, right? So he's just listening to the judges technically. But for me looking at it, and for me looking at it as well, I think he looked better even peeled. Like, I mean, I think he looked better all the way peeled. I don't think he was like flat. I think he wasn't bursting full at the Arnold, but that to me is still my favorite look. And but I mean, you gotta listen to the judges. If the judges tell you something, if you don't listen, that's not good. So I guess it looked like he listened to the judges, and he looks like he came in fuller for sure.
And you were there in person. How did he look in person?
Yeah. Good point.
So I kind of agree a lot with you guys. For me, it's hard because for me, Nick's physique, right? I think his Arnold is his best look, but I also like his physique when he just broke onto the pro scene. So I actually prefer his 2021 New York
Arnold.
Pro look to this one, because he was just a little bit smaller, so he was more streamlined. Everything was just like completely streamlined, and it was just like you couldn't deny him, but like you guys said, he's listening to the judges, right? Like if you're gonna dock him for coming in a little bit smaller and streamlined, the guy's playing to win. Like what is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
So the problem is that, and I said this to someone, people always talk about genetics and this and that. Nick has a genetic propensity to grow muscle. Like, he puts on muscle because if you guys noticed this past year, he wasn't really force feeding either.
But not at all.
Not at all. He was shredded.
Bro, yeah, he hasn't tried to grow since he did that stint with that last coach, and he didn't even agree with that. That was his coach wanted to do that,
And he still grew. So I kind of feel like at this point for him, that's where it's almost like his gifts are becoming a curse, because if he keeps growing, right, then he's gonna step way over that line where he could start getting docked.
What are you guys' thoughts on the fact that, sorry to cut you off. What are you guys' thoughts on him? Like, if I was him personally, I would train literally legs and back until the Olympia. Like, I think his upper body is so anabolic in the sense of it just like responds to training so well. And he just probably has a great neural connection, mind muscle connection with training. Upper body, like, I think he's maxed. Like, I don't think he needs to push any more size into his chest, arms, delts. Maybe a little bit more lats or more density in the back, but I think it's just the quads are the only thing at this point, just based on his shape. They need to be bigger. They need to have more sweep, because I think that's the only thing that's going to keep him from potentially fighting for that one spot between Hadi and Derek, just because it's not that his legs are smaller if you see them side by side, but like, I would say, for example, him and Martin's legs were pretty synonymous. For me, when you just look at them, if you just put your hand halfway up the screen and looked at them like that, they'd be pretty much the same size. But once you add Nick's waist in the equation, it makes his legs appear smaller, as obviously a part of the bigger package. So that would be what I would do personally if I was Nick. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that.
I would definitely stop training arms and shoulders. You know, at one point I felt like he needed more chest and back, but after seeing this last spread now, the way he hits it, I don't even know if he needs more back. I gotta be honest with you. And the chest, I'm good with the chest. I don't even think he needs more chest. Honestly, at this point,
Just
I think
quads.
quads. I think that's it.
But do you guys, but with Eric, like what Eric is saying, right?
Mhm.
I don't even think the quads are small. It's just that his sweep starts so low.
They're not
So
small
it's
at
like
all.
even if he grew the quads specifically, like if his quads started from the hip, we
Mhm.
wouldn't be talking about this problem. Like we actually
Mhm.
wouldn't be talking about this problem. His sweep kind of starts from almost like the middle of his leg. That's why people kind of say his quads are the issue. So even if it got bigger and
Same shape.
I don't know. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like even if his quads actually got bigger, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to overcome this issue, right? Just because of it's genetics, or it's just genetics
Mhm.
at the end of the day. There's nothing you could do about it.
But I do
I
think he
think
was trying to find a balance between super peeled and too full. Because last
Mhm.
time he competed, he lost because he was too flat. And the time before, he lost because he was too full. So I think this time they were trying to go for a middle look, honestly. That's
I
why
think
we
so.
have this. Because he's not full. I think he had more room to be fuller. Because that's not the fullest Nick we've ever seen. We've seen him fuller than this. But at the
Mhm.
same time, he was in that middle spot, not too full, but not too peeled, right in the middle. That's why he won, I guess. Plus, because he's a lot bigger than Martin.
I can see that. I think the last Olympia he did was his fullest. I think he was fucking.
My
Somebody
my
had posted a
favorite
picture.
my favorite look was the 22 Olympia for him. I thought that was the perfect balance myself.
Wait,
Me too.
22
I agree with that. Yeah, when he was
when
third
he got.
place.
Oh
He
yeah,
got
okay.
third. That was my
Some
absolute favorite look because I thought it was the perfect balance of like he was shredded, but he wasn't so shredded that it took away from his legs a bit. His waist wasn't too puffed up, and his like because so Eric was talking about there's no it's hard to decipher, but if you look at the physique as a whole, it's hard to see the difference. But if you took away the obliques in the midsection, his legs actually did get bigger, but because his waist actually grew a little bit too, it almost kills the illusion of the fact that he grew his legs. So
Mhm.
he did grow overall, but because, like I said, the word overall, it kind of took away from the fact that he grew at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it really hurts him because it's the physique as a whole that you see, not just individual parts.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Bate, if you look at that 21 New York Pro, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there, right?
Mhm.
Like when he won, he was a little bit smaller, but because he was smaller, everything looked a lot more streamlined, right? He's actually
Yeah,
Yes.
bigger. His
look,
claws are actually bigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
his legs are actually substantially bigger, but
That's what I'm saying.
but his obliques are too, right? So
It's
I mean,
it
so
was
the
like
arms.
it was
Yeah.
like damned if you did, damned if you didn't. Like he possibly could have been more successful just refining himself a little bit on the left and not trying to go for the overall growth because
Well,
the obliques took a hit. And he
but
trains his
Joe,
abs a lot. I know I missed the beginning, but even myself from the California in 22 to the USA's, my waist grew a little bit, but Paul and me decided to work my abs. And my abs got better, but my obliques grew a bit. And so this year, I told him, I'm like, look, I'm going to stimulate the abs. I literally did like one exercise, 3 sets, 25 reps. I didn't push to failure. I just wanted to give them that little bit of pop. I wasn't trying to grow them anymore because I saw my obliques growing. And
yeah.
so that's where I pulled back. And I know Nick's a diehard bodybuilder. You know, he doesn't train like a pussy. That he's far from it. So, but it's like there is a point where you do have to pull back and dial back on certain things to keep your physique and flow with each other. Because you can't just
Well,
grow everything and it look good. You know, eventually something's going to
no.
give.
Well, Joe, that's what Ken was saying earlier. Nick actually isn't trying to grow at all. He actually been trying to refine since he turned pro. He's just been trying to refine, but his genetics is so that he just grows, bro.
But I mean,
I
like
mean,
he trains abs like every day.
he did in the past. I don't know if he still does that.
Because I mean, shit, bro. Like your obliques are gonna grow for a reason. Like, there's like whether it's a movement, like even me, RDLs I took out too. Like anything that gave me a hip hinge where my obliques are heavily engaged, like I just won't do it because I saw myself literally from one year to the next, like holy shit.
I think that's the best point right there is like if you're like a Ken Vidi, like you guys have natural small like hip structures, right? Like I don't think it's going to be to your detriment to train abs a little bit more frequently. Whereas for me or Joe, who don't have like the crazy small waist, the more we train them, and if our obliques are a little dominant as is, I think they're just going to keep growing in cohesion. So I think you just have to like understand the physique and what's needed. I think the same thing for Stu. What is that trade-off, right? If he does start to like train abs to get a little bit more depth, is there going to be a trade-off with his obliques kind of growing? And I think that one of Stu's biggest strong points is his taper. Like he takes up a lot of space, but it comes into that really nice tapered waist when he pulls a vacuum. And if he loses that even by 5 to 10%, it's going to change his physique a lot. Even if it improves the abs by 5 to 10%, I don't think that trade-off is there for me personally.
Good point. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Like even like training your upper body. Like for Nick, he's got to stimulate the muscles. Like you can train them. There's a way to train to where you're not going to grow. Like you have to push yourself to grow. And I think it's a mindset. Every time you train, it's hard to not push yourself. So he just does need to dial back on certain things and give more effort to other things to keep the balance. You still got to train, just keep the balance. Just like I said, I still train abs, but it's just to keep them alive, not to grow them, not to make them any worse. Like that's it, just stimulation. It's almost like the last few weeks of prep, the last like 2 weeks of prep. You're not trying to grow nothing.
Of course,
getting blood flow to the body. Yeah, like that's it.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I honestly feel like Nick has been doing everything in his power to do it the right way. Like when he got with the RP strength and he completely changed his strength, he stopped doing RDLs and all that shit as well. I think he's trying his best, but honestly, bro, him being Nick, I feel like he's just gonna keep growing anyways.
But he's huge on for example, rack deads. He's been doing that all off season. How heavily do you engage your obliques on a rack dead?
I agree with that. I think that's I wouldn't say that he's backed off a hip hinge, buddy. I think even with the RP boys, like they're actually big hip hingers. I've stayed away from it almost completely. Like I do all my hamstring iso either lying, seated. I try to let's say a GHD, something like that, because I've noticed a ton of stimulus and growth in my hamstrings without the obviously growth in my waist. So I think that's one. Yeah, I still see him doing rack pulls with 3-4 plates, deficit RDLs, which I think are a great exercise, but like for bodybuilding specifically, it can have that effect of it's going to make your core stronger and your lower back stronger. And maybe, but I think that trade-off, like people talk about like spinal erectors and like that density in the low back, like that's thrown off by the fact if your waist is wider, the guy that's next to you that has a smaller waist and his lats flare out more, like it's going to always look better than even if you have like fucking right along your spine, those spinal erectors that come on really thick tissue, kind of like James Holling said. I think that's a trade-off there. Is always
I literally was on the ride home, me and Paul were talking about how much we miss deadlifting, but how I told him for the rest of my career I won't do it. Like, because for me, like I said, the same thing will happen. My waist will get blown out 100%. It's in my genetics. My body likes to put muscle everywhere too. So I need to limit certain things to where that load's going to be placed. Because I'm not going to do a light deadlift. It's not going to happen. So it's just, you just got to be smart and pick and choose how you want to develop your physique. Because there's so many ways to do it. You don't need to deadlift. Will it help? Cool. Yeah. Like someone like Hunter or like Ken or you guys can do it all you want, but it won't hurt you. Like, needless to say,
I thought he said on a pod that since the hamstring tear, he stopped doing hinge movements.
He stopped doing RDLs. He still does. Because remember, a rack pull starts right below the knee. You don't heavily engage your hammies like on that full stretch of an RDO.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys believe that if he stopped doing any bent over movements, that his waist would actually get smaller?
I don't know if it'll get smaller, but it won't get bigger.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard to atrophy the waist specifically, but like it's kind of one of those things that's like once it's gone. Like how many bodybuilders have we talked about where it kind of goes and it just never comes back? Like you've never seen a bodybuilder that's like they used to be so tapered and now they're kind of like wider through the hips.
Yeah.
Like 3 years later, like, oh shit, they really like brought it back.
It's so hard to atrophy a muscle that's constantly engaged in almost every movement. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the best thing Nick can do is literally grow his legs as big as he fucking can in a way that he's not going to engage his obliques heavily, which he can do fine with his leg presses, his hack squats. He knows how to train. He's smart with it. It's just a matter of you can't do anything that's going to like second-handedly abuse those obliques because it's only going to say his legs grow. It's not going to matter because of the visual of the waist to the leg.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I think the only person I could think of off the top of my head that I would say like, oh shit, their waist got smaller was Kareth Bajo. I think it's literally just because you learned how to pull a vacuum and it definitely changed.
Same with Charles Griffin too.
Charles Griffin.
Charles Griffin. So here's my opinion. If I'm being honest, I feel like regardless of what he does, I feel like his waist will grow as long as his body grows. And as you get older, it happens to everybody. I mean, even when Dennis James stopped doing training heavy and all that stuff, his waist did grow as long as he was big. You know, the only time I've seen it go backwards is when they come in substantial, like Rolly. Probably the few times I've seen it actually appear smaller is when he first of all, he stopped taking certain supplements, certain compounds, and he just came in a lot lighter and not as full. That's possible. But if I'm being honest, I think every year as you get a little older, I think your waist can still get wider. You know what I'm saying? But like we talked about earlier, I think you should still do everything in your power to avoid it. So if you can avoid doing fucking bent over movements, I think you should. I think you still should, you know. And let's say if it doesn't help, at least you tried, right? You know, I mean, you got to try, right? You can't just say fuck it. Yeah, you can't just say fuck. Or even with Stu, we talk about the ab training. What if he trains abs and looks exactly the same? That's cool. At least you tried. You know what I'm saying? You got to at least try.
At the end of the day, for Nick, whatever he tries, it won't hurt him. Like he's completely developed. We're just trying to grow his legs without his obliques, and that's it. Like so, it's worth a try. He's not going to lose muscle in the process. If anything, he's going to gain better legs and then keep the waist where it's at. That's it.
Yeah.
Even if that man doesn't train upper body for 3 months, I don't think he loses muscle then. You know what I'm saying?
Well, bro, I think Phil Heath literally only trained his arms 8 weeks out. I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
He didn't lose shit.
Yeah. Well, look at him when he first got on the scene, bro. His arms are like legs. Like what the fuck? It was ridiculous, bro. It was ridiculous. You know?
And then you gotta think about like arms, bro. Like even though you say Nick doesn't really train them like on their own day, you're still using your arms a lot with your pull movements and then your chest movements and stuff like. So somebody that's going to be prone to grow the shit out of their arms, he doesn't need to hit arms at all, ever.
Yeah,
like he gets enough stimulation from the compound shit. Like that would be enough for just him.
100%.
So
all right, now I think that's enough giving the third best bodybuilder advice. Let's. This
is just it was a question directed.
No, not you.
No. But I'm just saying, because I actually I love Nick. I watch his workout videos. I think he's extremely smart. I just think he's extremely hardworking, and sometimes that can actually hurt you.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
And so with that said, like just because of his work ethic, his waistline has gotten where it's at because he's willing to do all the hard shit, right? And so if anything, all we're trying to say is, you know, if you scaled back a little bit on certain things, maybe it would help because we want him to succeed. That's it. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Just, you never know.
For sure. He's going to text me like, thanks for the advice. BOYZ.
For real.
All right. Let's, who did we, we didn't
talk about Quint. Can we talk about Quint? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Quint. All right, so let's see.
What's your guys' thoughts? I mean, obviously one of the most aesthetic dudes on stage. I was definitely like almost not, I wouldn't say disappointed, but like just seeing him full blown in the off season and seeing how hard he was pushing and talking to him, and then just seeing how little it matriculated to, the difference in his 22 look versus 24. I thought he was gonna be 25 pounds bigger, honestly. I think he might have been 5.
I think he was just over dieted. That's just what I think.
And he was flat, honestly.
Yeah, he was completely over dieted. Like it showed. Like I saw him at the athletes meeting the night before, and meeting Quinton. Over the last couple of years, Quinton always has that kind of giant effect, right? Like he's got that towering figure over you. And I saw him at the meeting, and right away, like I could tell, just like size wise, he was just over dieted, man. Like I think that they probably, Bitey, you said this earlier when we were talking, when we first started. I don't know what the prep was like, but when we had him on, he was pushing. I remember he said he was pushing, and he was willing to go where people weren't willing to go, and I think sometimes when you just said it too, Joe, when you work too hard, sometimes that could actually bite you.
Yeah.
So I think he was over dieted, because when I saw him on stage, like in person, the reason why I could tell is, like, first off, his abs were completely washed, like, and he was smaller. So it's not like, if you should be peeled right out the bone. So it was almost like he had a flat look to him.
Exactly. That's how you know.
There was no muscle there either. So he was completely over dieted. And I think they tried to fill him out, but at that point it's too late.
Okay. So here's this is going to prove you right, beyond any doubt. Right. I don't know if he wants me to say this. If he doesn't, I'll just edit this part out. So this is what he told me, right? The lowest, so he competed in Texas, 2 years ago? That was 22?
Yeah.
He competed at Texas, peeled, right? And then now, almost 2 years later, the lowest weight he hit this prep was
what the fuck?
That's alarming. That's alarming. You know what I'm saying?
That's got to be so like demoralizing. Think about, like, even like right now, I'm like probably, I think I'm like tracking about 15 pounds above last year, above USA's last year, and I'm like, oh fuck, I wish it was like a little more, but then like I'm like, dude, it's still fucking 15 pounds. That's crazy. But like I can't even imagine if I came in like 4 pounds lighter than USA's last year. I'd be like, oh, what the fuck happened? Like, why did I spend even a whole off season? Why did I eat so much fucking food? And now that out twice this long for Quint to get up like off season up like 3 high, I think 330s, 340s, I want to say is what he kind of topped out at, and then come down that far. But I think I mean, he's talked about in his post, like, oh, wait until the next show and you guys will see. I think he's dieted it off. I don't think you can fill back out.
Yeah. Eric, I completely agree. The same thing happens. I don't know if you guys remember, it happened to James Hollingshead. The same exact thing happened to James Hollingshead, I think a year or two ago.
When he was with P-Tour?
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay. I remember
completely over dieted, and at that point you kind of have to shut it down, because the muscle's not going to come back, and it's not going to come back in 2 weeks.
So Sid Rai put something on his story about what he thinks Quint should do, and I mean, I'm sure Quint's in his head about a lot of this shit, but I think Sid hit it on the head. Like, when you're over dieted like that, it can really set you up for a nasty rebound if done right? So
yeah,
if I was Quint, because like you said, Ken, perfectly, like your body, once it gets pushed to a certain limit, you're not going to bring it back to life without consistent feeding and stuff. So I do think he should shut it down. I mean, at most do California, because it's literally next week if he wants to do that, but shut it down and really take advantage of that rebound, because your body's so far gone that it's going to want nothing more than to grow. I thought that was really good
I
advice.
agree with that. Like honestly, Joe, like just seeing your updates, not to pipe you up, like I think if you hit your peak, I think you could not easily, not I don't want to ever say easily, but like I think you could potentially beat Quint Beastwood, who's like a top bodybuilder, just because, like you said, like you still look fresh, full, and like even when you're right now like super depleted. So imagine what you're gonna look like, in 7 days. I think you're right. Like I think I would rebound, like you said. I would, obviously reverse out and then maybe pick a show, and I don't think he should just shut it down for the season, but maybe a show like closer to like Vancouver in 8 weeks, or let's say Tampa in 11, or Chicago in 9.
I would even like go as far to say like just compete again in like
Close to
for
Olympia.
example legions.
Yeah,
Whether
that's what I
it's
was thinking.
that's what I would do, just because whatever the rebound gives him, it gives his body also time to kind of solidify it, and that way it won't lose it right away. Again, just getting ready for another show. So just that time on the body, it'll just do him well mentally too, just because he's gonna feel good and then see the change happen like right before his eyes instantly too.
And then he doesn't have to keep he's just going to keep feeding up, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be within striking distance, and he's just going to keep feeding up. So going into the show later at that point, he's not even going to push his body. It's going to be, he's just going to slowly ease into the show, which I'm sure that would probably be the best Quinton we'd ever see.
Mm-hmm. So just a few things. His lowest was, but he didn't compete at, just to preface that. He was heavier, but at that point, I think he was too far gone. Second thing, I think he definitely added tissue. I just think he lost it on the way down.
So
I think for sure he built muscle in the offseason. There's no fucking way that he didn't. I saw him, and I was like,
yeah,
you might be the biggest human I've ever seen in person. Like, legit.
It came
like
off.
my prep for USA's, I lost probably about a good 10 pounds on me of shit that I shouldn't have lost, because I was supposed to be a heavyweight, and it ate away my legs, like completely ate away my legs. And so I can attest to that. So it's just like I gained way more muscle than I showed going on the USA stage. So that's why the rebound was so nasty, because I was just getting back the tissue that I lost and then added some.
Exactly.
So for Quinton, that's what I'm saying. It'll bring him to life.
Check this out. Toward the end of the prep, people were saying he needs more legs, which is crazy, right? Because we know that Quint's legs is his best body part, but he was just that flat that, people thought that. Quint's legs are like, it doesn't look real. His calves look like tumors. His fucking quads, it looks fake. So it's like his legs are actually fucking insane. He might actually have the biggest calves. If you take a tape measure, he might have the biggest calves, in the league.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's like legs are the first thing to go. It's happened to myself. Man. I've watched it happen to Paul, my buddy who does classic. I watched it happen to Andy. I watched it happen to you, baby. Yeah, I saw it just eats them away. And I mean, think about how you're always on them. So it's like if you're over dieted and you're pushing your body and you're constantly using your legs for cardio and then walking,
cardio too.
You're not doing the fucking hand bike to do your cardio. Right?
Nah, bro. That's what I'm fucking saying. Like
Quint was doing 2 hours of cardio. Now, if you absolutely have to, for some reason, it is what it is. I just don't think Quint had to. And this is no knock to Jansen. Jansen is a great coach who knows what he's doing, but it's also like they didn't want to be the Samson guy. They didn't want to be the guy who's not shredded enough, right? And Jansen is about condition, so he wanted him in shape. It's just that Quint's body type and his height and being Nigerian, I guess, it's just a little bit different. So he's gonna learn,
and it was new muscle. It was new muscle too. Let's not forget that. It's not like he's had that muscle for a while, so you could just dye him away and it'll stay. So I 100%. Think that's why it left so quickly like that. I feel for Quinn. I really feel for Quinn, but I think that this is gonna set him up if done correctly. This is going to set him up for the biggest productive season of his bodybuilding career. This is where he's going to transition into that champion we all know that he's capable of being.
Janicki is tall as well. He's probably close to his height, and he had a lot of new muscle the last few years. And I'm sure he'll tell you it's hard to keep on to that fucking tissue. Especially being a taller guy with new muscle, very difficult to hold on to that new tissue. But you still have to be shredded. So you're like, I want to be shredded, but then I'm losing this tissue, and it's like a really good balance. Compton has been doing a great job with that, just knowing exactly how much to feed me when. And I'm like, wow, this is why it's, good coaching is necessary, because by myself, I was just doing this,
I think that's one of the biggest advantages that shorter bodybuilders have is like that they can, like the stage weight doesn't have to be as heavy for them to look kind of crazy. So like Eric Lunsford winning Olympia at like 230 something pounds, I'm not saying that he's not fucking huge. He is, but I just think that when you do diet down, you don't look as stringy. Like, let's say is like Quint, when he diet down, like it looks like he has a lot of holes in his physique, even though he doesn't, but he's so fucking tall. Like he's definitely like 6'2". Like I'm 6'1". He's a little bit taller than me. So he's 6'2". So I think that's the key is not over dieting. You can't push that hard. Let's say you can't push like Hottie. Like I hear Hottie's doing like 3 hours of cardio going into a show. He's just so fucking dense and stocky that he's never.
That's a Persian myth, man. That's a folk tale.
I keep hearing that. I keep hearing that. I'm like, when does Hottie have?
It used to be 2, bro. It used to be 2. It's been 3 or 4 lately.
He sleeps on the stair climber. He's like this.
My thing is that when has Hottie ever had any body fat to burn off to begin with? He been shredded every off season, every contest. I'm like, when is he doing that? At this point, I got to see some video evidence of him doing cardio. I'm like, there's, that guy is next level, bro.
If I was that shredded and my coach told me I had to do 3 hours of cardio, I'd be like, fuck off.
Oh, no way.
Fuck out of here.
That's the thing is like, because we like, he's got the same coach as, let's say, Chris, and Chris is very transparent. He does vlogging, that type of thing. And like Hottie at the peak had him doing like an hour of like fasted, like incline treadmill walk. Like that was pretty much like the most he had Chris doing, who was more out of shape. You would say, because out of shape, let's say more body fat than Hottie. And I can't imagine same coach would say, okay, Chris, you're doing fucking an hour. Hottie, you got to go fucking do 3, my guy.
Yeah, no way.
Hottie benches 5 plates and does 3 hours of cardio. That's the fact. Listen, it's a Roddy of legends, bro. It's just gonna keep going up, dude. Just
it never stops. But to wrap up on Quint, I'll say this. I talked to him.
Where did he place?
6.
Six. Okay.
Now, when the show was over, I'm like, I want to see how he's feeling mentally. So when I talked to him, I'm happy to see that he's not defeated. He doesn't feel bad for himself. He's not sad. He's not depressed. If anything, he sounded motivated. And he told me his plans, but I'm gonna let Quint share that, obviously. What I will say is that it ain't over yet. Let's say that. It ain't over yet.
All right, cool. I was just saying, I was just telling Paul how excited I am to see all these guys. Like, the people that have said they're going to do the Cal, like, I can't wait to fucking chat it up with them and shit, man. That's the most exciting fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seeing Stu, Quint, like, oh, man, it's going to be cool.
I got to tell you, Joe, these next 2 weekends are going to be some of the best for all of us around this pod, because just being with Stu and the guys yesterday, like over this weekend, and like knowing that they're coming over to you guys now over in Cali, man, I'm telling you, it's great, man. What a fucking time to be alive in bodybuilding. It's
but we're like we're in it with everybody, and that's the best part.
Yeah,
it's not we're just spectators anymore. We're doing the damn thing too, so it's fucking cool.
Exactly. And I actually think his game plan is good. I think he's going to be able to bring a much better look, from what he said. So
Justin gave me muffins to bring me to life, so maybe that's what he'll do.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. All right. Is there anybody who we haven't covered? Let's see.
The only person that I've seen over dieted and not lose their legs in the history of bodybuilding was Zayd. That's the only person I've ever seen lose their fucking legs.
I used to do 2 hours of stairs a day, bro. Imagine.
That shit was incredible.
Tell them it's the newbie.
No, now my legs. Now my legs, bro. Yeah, thank God I have that.
No, Zay.
Go
ahead, Ken.
Sorry.
No,
I was going to switch it. I wanted to
go.
say that I do think that there was a guy in this lineup that I saw there that I think he was a little bit overlooked. John Arthur Duncan. It was his pro debut as well. I think he came second at Nationals in 22. He looked good, bro. Like in the group comparisons, he looked really good.
What's that, G?
I think Ignorance is Bliss. I don't think he has a lot of good stage photos on there. I don't think he has a lot of, Ignorance is Bliss. Yeah, right there. I don't think he has a lot of good stage photos from New York. I don't even think he posted anything in New York.
Oh, he didn't post anything.
There? Is that a guilt?
Oh, he did.
He poses really.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
That's one way to work out.
All right. Guess you know why he didn't place, right? but on his own, he kind of looks. But when you put him in the lineup, he was just as big and he was really conditioned. Like I think he should have been in second call outs at the very least, like at the bottom of the second call out. So shout out to John. Like I think his posing kind of hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, you can see he's not digging into his hamstring right there. You see that? Like when he's doing that double, like you see him, he's not pulling on his hamstring at all. Like they almost look like they're not even peeled.
Yeah, but if you saw him in the group comparison,
those trunk colors, badass.
Yeah,
I like that color.
In the group comparisons, he looked, man. John, if you hear this, can you just post the goddamn thing so people can see? This is kind of hard. But in the group comparisons, he looked really good compared to on his own. You put him in the group comparisons, he looked really good, especially next to Quinton. Like he was actually beating Quinton in a lot of shots. So
he was beating Quinton?
Yeah, in the group comparisons.
What did he place?
He was in third callouts, dude. Like shut up in third callouts.
Yo, should we cover all the divisions this episode or split it up? Because I feel like if we cover all the divisions, it's going to be a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah,
I'm happy with just open for right now.
let's split it up because I do want to talk about the 212 for sure and potentially maybe even touch on the classic, but I mean definitely the 212.
The winner of 212 was badass, man. I remember I woke up the first day of the show and I said it to Paul. I was like, yo, dog, this guy's a fucking animal.
Just pull up just that one video before we go. I want to see that one video.
That was one of the most polished fucking physiques I've ever seen.
Bro, he looked incredible. Like, how can you be that short and be that wide? You know? It's like
other than Phil Heath, bro, I've never rewatched somebody's posing video over and over again like that.
He looks short.
Always peeled. I don't know if you guys have seen
his quads.
He's always peeled, bro. Even in
season,
he's always peeled.
Hey, Bajo is a beast. If you beat Bajo, Bajo is top 3, no? Top 4?
Top 3. Top 3, yeah.
Bro, this dude right here, bro, nah, don't play with this man. And listen, bro, man's flew from Ukraine. Motherfuckers are in war, and he flew over here and still outconditions motherfuckers that's been here for the whole prep. Think about that. Like, that's crazy. That's like me coming in from Sudan and fucking winning the New York Pro. It's like, how the fuck you do that?
The only thing that's going to keep him from winning the 212-0 eventually, I think, is apparently has some sort of like tricep injury, especially in that left one.
Yeah.
No idea.
You can see it.
Why in the world would you do your side try on the side that you have a injured tricep? But he it makes it look like he has 0 tricep on that left side. It's a very strange thing to do. Decision. I mean, like, if I have a fucking torn tricep, you
don't want to do that.
I'm side posing on the other side.
He wants to show you how fucking good he is. He's like, I'll beat your ass on side try with no try.
He's like,
that's what Larry Wills does.
He does a side bicep.
Yeah, he's top 6. Yeah, Ole's top 6. Like, dude, he's no joke, bro. Like, he's been around. Like, Ole is legit. But if you see him in the offs,
he beat Keon. He beat Keon in 22. When Keon got 6th and he got 5th. Now, I think he can and will beat everybody besides Keon and Sean. I think he'll be third. I think he'll be third. Well, I mean, he already beat Karif.
Yeah, Karif was a little bit off.
Yeah, he was.
Compare, but if Karif is on, I think Karif will still beat him because
unpopular opinion. I think Sean's gonna slide it a little bit this year. I think he's too focused on trying to be bigger, and I don't think it's suiting him.
So who's gonna beat Sean? You feel?
I think Ole could slip up there. I think that Karif could slip up there. I don't think he's dropping any more than fourth, but I think that's a possibility if he can't. I think his midsection is becoming more of a problem because, like, I get it, he's light, but he's trying to get bigger every single year, and I don't think it's suiting his physique. And he used to have those like crazy abs. He doesn't pull vacuum, which is fine, but like it seems like his abs don't like have that same depth because there's that just slight distension at this point. But I could be wrong. I think that's where the judges were kind of I think that's what lost him.
It was. Yeah.
But if it gets better, great. I think he'll still be in that top 2 conversation. But if it stays the same or gets worse, I think some of these guys like Ole with like that crazy taper and vacuum could push him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I would love. I'm a big fan of Sean. I would love to be very optimistic. But that being said, like we talked about earlier, how often do we actually see the waist go backwards, bro? Especially he's in his 40s. He's 41, right? 42?
He's 42.
Yeah, something like that.
He's 42.
So how often have we seen somebody's waist go backwards in their 40s? Right? I mean, any age, but on top of that, in your 40s, for your waist to actually get smaller, that's hard to do, bro. Even if he's not trying to get bigger and anything like that, which he has been getting bigger. That's going to be hard to do. Now, will that be enough to get second still? I don't know, man. I mean, look at it. Nobody had ever looked good in this fucking in the MPC gym before. This is the first man to actually look shredded at the MPC gym.
That tells you everything right there, bro.
That tells you everything you need to know. Because once you get under these lights, everybody looks fucking 6 weeks out. This motherfucker still looks like he's ready to go. So, I mean, listen.
That's so true.
I would never pose there. Even if they asked me to, if they were like, "Hey, I need you to pose here for like promotion," I'd be like,
"No, Sebum, you got to pull a Sebum. Just go like this."
Yeah.
And walk away.
If I'm gonna pose there, shut off the lights or something. Like we're not doing it with this.
No.
When Sebum went to Pittsburgh, he's like, "I'm not posing."
No. Well, because like, what good is gonna come out of that? Sebum is not like because he doesn't have an off season. He can't get bigger. He has a kidney autoimmune disease. He's kind of chilling off season, and he gets a little bit maybe fluffier. Like he's not about to stand next to Urge. Just so everybody can say, "Look, he's gonna lose." He ain't losing. He ain't losing. But
I think it was last week. Well, I missed the podcast last week, but with Urz and what's his name, Rough Diesel. That shit was hilarious.
That's funny.
He's like, that shit was so funny.
I mean, honestly, Urz is starting to kind of. I think people like that don't know him well enough think it's like all fun and games. Like, but he's a little like kind of like he loves to like poke the bear. Like,
sure.
I didn't think this when it first came out. You know, when he was like doing that tour and. Like first Olympia, it was like 22 or 23, and he was like peeled at like fucking 11 weeks out, flying around to like work out with Chris, to work out with Terrence, to kind of work out with the top guys. And then somebody was like, "Dude, you know he's doing that just to like basically prove a point." Like, dude, look how like and get in their heads. I was like, "Nah, Urs is like a cool ass dude. Like, I don't think that's it." But like the more I see it come out, I've talked to him in person now. Like, dude, I interviewed him before the Olympia last year, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna crush Chris. Like." I'm gonna be.
Oh, he's trying to get in their heads.
Oh, he's very much so. Like, and he wasn't kidding. He wasn't just like smiling. He was like, no, people don't know what's coming. Like, I'm gonna crush everybody. Like,
well, you know why everybody thinks he's joking? Because he had a permanent smile on his face. Right, he's
got that
psycho. Like.
Exactly. So I think everybody assumes he's joking because he'll have a full conversation with you, and the whole time he'll be like, "Yeah, bro, the whole time." But he's not joking. That's just how his face looks, But he's dead serious, So one time he was training at Gold's Venice after Olympia. and I was impressed. Honestly, I was impressed. He has like no body fat, but then he still doesn't look as peeled as like Chris and Ramon. I think he's as lean as them, but something about the
100% as lean as
separation
them.
and he doesn't have the
same
detail
problem.
they do.
He's
Disgustingly
losing muscle.
peeled.
He's losing muscle to get to that weight. Same
That's
problem
the
with
problem is he can't fill back out. So like
Yeah.
the problem with Urs is not that he's not conditioned enough. He's probably less body fat per se. He's like a Michael DeBoule in the sense that like he's so fucking low body fat percentage. Like dude, at 10 weeks out, you see him, you're like, dude, he could fucking step on stage
Crazy,
in like a week and a half.
That's not good though.
No, it's not good. But the
Yeah.
thing has to do that because he's probably losing 7 pounds of muscle just to make his weight cap. And then it's so hard for him after going catabolic to fill back up and look hard because obviously a big part of conditioning is how much is that tissue pushing against your skin. So he gets so big in the off season, say 270 plus, he has to come down to like 223. So like then you try to fill up and it just doesn't have that same look and like it's not pressing against your skin. You don't look dry, you don't look hard, and you might have just as little body fat as let's say a Chris or Terrence, but you're just not going to have that same kind of crispy look or even Breon this past year. I mean, I thought Breon beat him out.
240 and at 240 he's peeled. So that should tell you something, right? Like
Exactly.
That guest posing doesn't look like he's in off season. He looks like he's prepping for a show 3 weeks out. You know,
I think he should do one more Olympia Classic. I don't think he's ever going to be Mr. O. I think he then moves up to and I think like a lot of people are talking about this guy. What's that Spanish dude who looked fucking crazy?
Oh yeah, he looked insane.
He's like one of the only people that's like done it well, like moved down to Classic. But and people are talking about he's so young, he could be the next Mr. Olympia. He's like 21 or something. But at the end of the day, dude, like fucking lost muscle and went kind of literally barely made weight. He's already a pro. He's not going to get more weight cap. So like he's pretty much maxed out. He was peeled like inside out. So like unless he's beating Chris like right now, or is he if he's not a top 5, because people are saying, oh, he's so young, he can progress. He can't progress.
He can't progress in that
nothing to give. He was fucking inside out, fucking probably 3% body fat, probably almost dead, and like filled out and did a great job at the show. Don't get me wrong, he looked fucking phenomenal. But that conversation's over now. Like that's how he's going to look for the next 1, 3, 5, 7 years in Classic. That's why I didn't love the move, because he could have been a top open guy. It would have taken him more time.
Eric, these people don't know bodybuilding. I mean, Regan did kind of the same thing, right? Like when he dropped down originally to Classic. Once you're maxed out, you're maxed out. As you get older too, and you continue to train, even if you're not pushing, there will be some muscle that does you will grow. So guys like that, like, you're not, unless Classic continues to increase the weight, they're gonna have to eventually retire or move over to the open. But then you play this flip flop, right? Like look at is it Florian Roth?
Oh man, Florian, that same thing happened.
The same thing happened to him, right? Like he
wasting time
all the way down, wasted time, and now he's trying to come back and he's trying to push back up. You end up wasting time. So it's kind of like, if you have any kind of space in terms of your weight to keep going up, you may as well move over to open. I mean, that's why Keon moved to the 212. It's like, what's the point? You know, you're never going to win. You're not going to look your best at the weight that you're looking for. So just keep pushing up. There's no point.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody said about Urs, right? When Urs came on to see like 22, 23, oh, he has so much time, he's going to win. And it's like, that would be true if he was 10 pounds underweight, but he's not. So where's the improvements going to come from? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those things you got to keep in mind, that it doesn't work that way. And why can't people be patient? Yo, you're 21, bro. People don't turn pro until 31, and you're 21. Like, you have all this time to gain this muscle. There's no rush.
I think it's just the allure of Classic to, like, you know, be with those guys like a Ramon or Urs, or, you know,
at the top.
At the top, you're already at, like, let's say he does show up just like that for the Olympia. I think he's a top 10-0 guy.
For sure.
It would take him probably 3 to 5 years in open to get there. But I do have to bounce, boys. Got to help my wife with the baby.
Oh yeah, do your thing, brother.
Absolutely.
Do your thing.
Pleasure.
Hey, it was good seeing you,
Good to
Eric,
have you
bro. I
on, bro.
can't wait to
Good seeing you,
share
bro.
the
Thanks for
stage
coming
with
on,
you
man.
again, bro.
You look
Best
great,
of
by the way.
luck at your show.
Thank you, man.
Oh, Eric, before you go, Paul and I plan on going to Zoo Culture and catching a workout with you before you're too deep into prep.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah, whatever you want to work out, just let us know, and we'll try to arrange it with you.
Yeah, we'll get.
And then maybe we can see you get Beatty there too.
Go in the Cal, and
Oh,
then
that's gonna be
we'll
deep.
talk, bro.
Yeah, that's the goal.
All right, man. You already know.
Boys.
All right, brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace out, man.
Y'all want to go into questions?
Hey,
We've
Paul.
been on for a
Yeah?
minute.
I saw your text. That body work, it was fucking amazing, bro. I feel great. Like I feel really good.
Hey, we got a new body guy, Beatty, out of Metroflex.
Oh,
And the dude
Oh.
doesn't put you in a whole lot of pain, but I mean, he puts the pain where it's needed, and it feels fucking great. I mean,
Yeah, this is the most open I've ever felt without what Paul's saying. That like
that immense
real
pain.
bad pain.
Yeah.
He knows
Yeah.
just the right amount and how to move the body around to where he like it almost like without pushing deeper because of how he maneuvers you, he'll get deeper. And
yeah.
you'll feel the work like after, but not like you're getting killed during. So like you actually feel real relaxed, so your body doesn't tense up hard and stuff. And this guy is something else. He's been doing it for like 10 years, I believe. He was an athlete himself, not a bodybuilder, but like a fighter.
MMA guy, yeah.
Yeah, so he
Oh.
I highly so I had him do my legs first, and then
Any
today
legs.
was full bodies for 90 minutes. But this dude, like, tell him what you want, but he touches everything. So he'll do the focal points, and then still like he'll match the other side. He doesn't just half-ass one side and focus mainly on the other. So I just I wanted to give him a shout out. His name's Osman. Yeah, I have him on Instagram. I don't know. Out of Metroflex Gym in Hawaiian Gardens, but I highly recommend him to anybody in the area. Really good.
Funny you mentioned that, right? So this whole knee injury thing, I don't think it's a knee injury at all. Further, I don't have knee issues. I think that inflammation in the knee is blood. I think it's blood from my quad sweep because it's on my outer side. So now I feel like a little bit of scar tissue on my lower quad sweep. I think there was a slight tear in the lower quad sweep, and then the blood went into the knee. That's what caused the inflammation. So now I'm like, and I feel like my lower quad pulling on my knee. So I think that's what caused it. I think it was tightness in the lower quad, and it caused some kind of slight injury. It's not like a serious tear, but like a minor tear, just enough to cause some internal bleeding. So now I'm like, I need to get work done on my quads with all this cardio. I'm still a heavy guy. All this cardio and shit, I think my legs get tight. I think I need to work those quads to avoid this from happening again, because I can't have this kind of shit happening. You know, this is how you get injured. Like,
well, you know what? With my knee injuries too, there's a like you know, okay, for instance, like the quad, how the bottom part of the quad kind of overlaps the knee. Those muscles, the man, I'm out of it. The fucking teardrop right next to the lower quad.
Yeah,
they get deep into that little area on me and really open up whatever the fuck's in there, and my knee pain goes away. Virtually goes away.
That's important.
So I mean, that's something I probably you need to get in there too.
Beatty, what kind of shoes do you wear to do legs?
Well, that day was a hammy day. I think I had Crocs on, but sometimes I take off my shoes. Sometimes it depends.
I was gonna say because I would start getting, because I would wear those Atomics and they're super comfortable, but I have a really wide foot and the sole of those is extremely thin. And Paul would wear them too, and I would do legs. And I was like, "Yo, Paul, like I think my shoes are fucking up my knees because my knees were starting to hurt." And so now I wear those high top Vans every single leg workout, even for cardio, because I have a really wide foot, like super wide. Yeah. And I told Paul, "Hey man, my knees feel like fresh. They feel like I'm young again." And I told him, I was like, "Hey, start wearing your Chucks or wear some Vans." And then with the body work and then him switching his shoes, his knee pain completely went away. Also, he stopped placing so much load on his hips. So the way the shoes kind of shift your foot can place load in places that overcompensate to keep the body in balance. So I would highly recommend you stop wearing Crocs or anything that's not flat footed. Like your Air Force Ones are fine, you know, your Jordans or whatever.
Yeah.
But like a Vans, Jordans, anything flat like Converse, those I highly recommend because I started noticing knee pain, even though like atomics are like thin and all that shit. It's too thin, like narrow for the sole. And the heavier you are, the more likely your foot's gonna like leak over shit like that. So you need a flat surface.
Also, I have no arches in my foot. My foot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, neither do I. That's why.
Yeah.
So I mean, Paul's seen my foot, bro. Like it's flat. So
that is fucked up.
Vans actually have a wide version of every shoe that they make. So you can literally order wide. And so I have those and they feel amazing. And then they're the high tops too. So if you, the ankle shit and all that.
Yeah.
It's good.
One good way, one way to kind of see, to tell if your arches collapse, or well, two things. If you've had like your shoe size go up like 2 sizes in a short amount of time, usually your arches collapse. Also, if you can't feel your inner calf, like your gastrocnemius, which it's hard for me to feel it because I have no arches. So then I'm like, what? That shit is melting, you know? And it's like, fuck, you know? So, but you're right. When I wear certain shoes, if I try to do calves and Crocs or socks, it's actually hard. Sometimes it's hard for me to feel it. It's weird. I got to press in like the right way. I got to press almost.
That's what I'm saying. You have to you have to really think about it. And I mean, when when the weight's too heavy, it's gonna fall, or it's gonna fucking fall.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
exactly.
I usually like I like shoes with like some kind of firm like support, like a wood sole or something, like a Metcon, for example. So like, dude, like if you're wearing a shoe like that, like the Metcons, they have like the heel is like it's almost like a wooden heel. It's almost like you're wearing boots to an extent. So like, bro, you're like firmly rooted to the ground. If you're doing anything, because that's the problem with atomics and all those shoes. Like your weight is actually shifting a little bit because you're almost you're not on a stable platform. And
bro, they're so comfortable.
That's dangerous.
They're so comfortable. Yeah. It's one of those things. These are the small stuff that make you a better bodybuilder. Because in our younger days, we gave no fucks. We were like, who cares? Put more weight. Your knee hurts. Put more weight. Your feet hurt. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't feel your calf. Add more plates. You know. And it's like, sometimes you have to. I'm not a science guy. I don't want to be a science guy. I'm not a fucking biochemist. None of that shit.
There's a time and place for it, though, bro. I swear.
Exactly. You do have to think. You have to use some thought. You know. So, I'm at the point where I'm definitely using some thought because I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to regress. Sometimes harder, you end up going backwards. And that was my mindset. I mean, that's how most of us grew up, you know, and which is good. In the beginning stage, you rather start like that, right? You don't want to start like scared of everything. You want to start like that. But at this point, I'm like, what's going to make me better? Now what feels better for my...
The best way I could put it is work hard always within reason. Like you never want to work less hard, but within reason. Like me and Paul talk about certain things, like even these last couple of weeks, like, okay, we need to push ourselves, but not to the fucking max. Like, you know, I talked about earlier, it's like, we're not trying to grow muscle anymore. That's just stupid. This is how tears happen. This is how you get banged up. You won't even be able to pose right at the end if you don't like be smart about it. So
exactly,
like our last leg day, I racked the leg press on the man, Paul. I had 5 left in me probably. But I was like, I felt things tightening up, and I was like, what's the point? Like, how is that 5 going to fucking change anything? That was hard to do. But again, working hard within reason. So it was like, I'd rather walk away and make it to the fucking stage knowing that I didn't even need to do the next 5, you know? So it's hard to do that, but again, work hard within reason.
And also, only you really know your limits. Like, you know, regardless of what everybody else says, you've been doing it long enough. You know your limits, right? So you'll hear people say different things. There was an older gentleman at the gym, and we were kind of talking about prep, and I talked about how I think I might have like a minor tear here, and this, you know, it's hard for me to get. I can't go below parallel. And he's like, you know what? If that was me, I'll just shut it down and I'll just stop. I'm like, motherfucker, because you're like 60. If I was 60, I I would shut it down too. But with all due respect, but I'm not 60, so I'm not gonna shut shit down. I'm still getting great pumps. I'm actually still getting good leg workouts. It's just different. It's just a lot slower, a lot less weight, and I can't go parallel. I mean, do I want to go ass to grass? Yes, but do I have to go ass to grass to fill my quad? No. Like, this is prep. If it was off season, I wouldn't mind missing 2 weeks of legs, but this is prep. I ain't missing no fucking leg work. I just won't do anything that's gonna cause me pain. You know, can I force myself down parallel with 4 plates? I probably could, but I ain't gonna fucking do it because I'm not 21 anymore and I'm not stupid. You know, so.
But that's the difference between being a professional and just someone that goes to the gym to work out. It's like, you know that the job's got to get done and there's other ways to do it, right? It doesn't mean you just don't do it. It's like, okay, well, this isn't working today, but I feel this pretty damn good, so I'm just gonna fucking ride this out until this gets better. But you still do the work.
Exactly. The average gym goer, they take things literally, right? You know, let's say you're at the gym and you're like, yeah, the strength a little down to you, a little flat. Yeah, you should have a refeed. I'm like, that's not my call. I'm gonna have a burger every time I feel flat. Like, I'm like, no. I mean, that's not for me to say. It's not like I'm complaining. I'm just making an observation. But okay, are you guys hungry? We're all hungry, right? And we can admit we're hungry, but it's not like we're gonna do anything about it. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do? We're not gonna eat more or chug a fucking gallon of water. We're just gonna be fucking hungry. You know, we're just gonna sit there like, you hungry? I'm hungry. Yeah, I guess we just hungry, bro. Watch some TV and go to sleep. You know.
That reminds me, Paul. I just noticed today. I was like, what the fuck? So I've been fucking starving, bro, up until like literally today, or last check-in or whatever. But apparently on 13 days out, he upped my protein from 7 ounces to 8 ounces, but he didn't bold it, so I didn't even notice. So
you know what? When he sent me the plan today, I seen that. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was on
that's when I noticed it. And I messaged him. I was like, yo, so apparently 7 days ago, you upped my protein an ounce, and I didn't do that. So I guess I'll start today. I'm over here like starving, bro. That's what? That was 5 ounces of protein I was missing out on. I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? But man, when you're starving, bro, that 5 ounces adds up.
Yeah,
that's 5 times 7. That is 35 ounces of meat that I missed out on.
5 ounces make a difference.
So you bet your ass. When I saw that, I got home that first meal. I was like, "Whoo!" I'm not gonna stop there today.
Extra fucking ounce. No,
I didn't even wait for him to respond to me. I was like, I'm just gonna eat it because it's on there. I'm gonna fuck it.
Oh man. All right. Let's see. What can I do?
That made my day. That's why I was all happy when I got on.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say you and Paul seem in a much better mood than like,
you know why?
Or much more energy. Or dialed
in, dog.
But I can't lie, but that shit is that shit is a game changer, bro. Like I'm not gonna.
I try to preach it without sounding like I'm fucking lying, because I'm like, dude, like I think this is the best shit that's ever happened to me for my prep. Outside of prep, I don't know, to be honest, because I've never taken it outside or drinking it outside of prep. But I'm like, bro, like right away, I shared it with Paul, with Jalissa, like anybody I can. I told you about it. Like, like, damn, dude, like those hard days aren't that hard anymore.
Hey, if I'm being honest,
Christmas music, Joe.
No, bro. I haven't listened to that. I haven't had to do that since 2022, bro. It hasn't been that bad.
But if I'm being honest, when I wake up, I kind of be jonesing. I'll be jonesing for a little kratom, a little bit of,
I start my day fasted, and so I go to I do my cardio before any of my clients. So I'll sip on one on the way to the gym. This shit hits right when I step on the treadmill. I'm just like, dude. I'll talk to Paul sometimes. I'll message people. I'll start talking about Instagram.
Well, we fucking start sending reels. I mean, listen, we can stop anytime. We can stop anytime we want. We just doing it because we want to. You know what I'm saying? We can stop.
Well, man, I only got 45 minutes today, Justin. You sure?
Yeah, let me do a little more. No, all jokes aside, some days I want to keep going. I'm like, you know what? I'm talking. I'm having a conversation anymore. My boy is here on the treadmill. Let me do an extra 10 minutes and catch up with my boy. You know.
I'll start
All
hyping
right.
people up, bro. I'm like, hey man, you look good on Instagram and shit. Like, I'm excited for you.
All right.
Has the official competitor list come out for Cali?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah,
No, I haven't
still
seen it either. I haven't seen it. All right. Want to get into questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do a couple questions. Okay. How the fuck can y'all afford to live in Cali? Goddamn.
I live in a house like fucking 10 people.
That's one way to do it. I mean, you could always sell some drugs, baby. You know, I don't hurt nobody.
Side hustle, bro. Why not?
Yeah, not me. I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to live in Cali, you could do that. Is what I'm saying.
Option.
Yeah, it's an option, you know. But I mean, I gotta be honest. I've been thinking about this more and more. Yeah, we wasting the shit out of our money, bro. We wasting money, you know. Paul got a house though, so he not wasting money, right? You don't pay rent.
Me and Paul are out as soon as we figure out what's going to happen after the show.
I'm really thinking Vegas. My family is moving back to Cali though, because I was thinking Texas, even Dallas. But if they move into Cali, I want to be able to see my family. So Vegas, they're gonna be in Marietta. So Vegas, I could drive here and see them, no problem. So I'm really thinking Vegas. I think next year, bro. I think I'm gonna do it. Why? Well, why the fuck? Like, what's so great about Cali at this point?
The fucking beach. I'm not even that motherfucker. No way.
I don't go to the beach.
I'm not a beach guy. I mean, I like the beach, but I don't like it that much.
If I don't have this weather, bro, I'll fucking stay depressed all life.
You guys don't realize the weather in Cali is like fucking heavy.
Amazing.
We're spoiled for sure,
bro. You don't want to do another chef. Like this
today's our first day of sunshine in 3 weeks, and it's supposed to be spring.
Oh, believe me, we don't want to live in the East Coast at all. we ain't going there.
Fuck that. You keep it snow.
No way. But like Vegas, it gets hot as fucking Vegas. But I mean, you
have air conditioning, bro. You have air conditioning. Yeah, you central air. I mean, you're good.
No problem.
Yeah, Vegas is good. It's a good option. Yeah, definitely.
I would prefer Vegas, because it doesn't snow. So, like, you don't got to worry about the snow and shit. That's what I worry about.
Hey, but it gets cold as fuck out there, though, in wintertime.
I like cold, though. I fucking love that shit. You just gotta
see, that's the cool medium, because you have like at least 2 seasons, right? Or what do you call it? 2 or 3 seasons. So it gets cold enough that you can rock you can rock a little jacket. If I want to go out sometime, I want to get a little fly and throw on a little jacket, you know what I'm saying? Feel good, have some boots on or something. So I like that. I like that little change up. It drops, you can throw on a hoodie, some sweats. So I don't know. Vegas, I think Vegas is where it's at, and I'm really thinking about that. Yeah,
I gotta leave this fucking place. I'm with you guys. I gotta leave this fucking place, dude. Like,
well, there you go. You got a house for 4 people. We'll live out there perfectly.
Oh, we good. Yeah, we don't get a mansion.
Bodybuilders. It's easy.
Yeah.
You know, what is it called? Canada, the muscle mansion or something.
Muscle mansion.
We just need 4 refrigerators for our own shit.
It was me, Paul, Casey, my sister, and Jalissa. And at the time, my sister was into the bodybuilding stuff, and we rented a place in Arizona. Where is it? Arizona, Paul?
Oh yeah.
It was Arizona.
Yeah.
We did Airbnb, and it was the dopest shit ever because everybody was on the same page. Like everybody ate rice, chicken, beef, like potatoes or whatever. Yeah, everybody ate the same shit and was on the same page. We all went to the gym together. It was fucking cool.
Muscle Mansion Part 2. Let's do it.
I got to lock down. I'm one of those people that I need routine to be successful. So I don't want to shift my routine, my training, nothing till I'm done with my pro debut. But after that, I need to find. I don't think I'm staying in Jersey either. Like Stu's been selling me on Texas. I'm not gonna lie, he's been selling.
He been selling me too. I ain't gonna lie.
Texas is a good plan too. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on right there in the Dallas area. But the thing is, that, I mean, you're leaving LA. You're to move to Dallas is the same shit. It's city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Keon lived in both. He said he prefers Vegas. I mean, that's preference though. That's just personal preference. I think one step at a time. I think I would go to Vegas first, And if for whatever reason I don't like it as much as I thought I would, then I will go Dallas. Or maybe as I get older, maybe if I want to have a family or something, I might think about Dallas. But I think Vegas is the first move for me.
I would
Yeah,
live
you
in
probably have
Vegas
fun.
specifically for griddle cakes, bro.
Oh, dog.
Don't even talk about that, bro.
Yes, I can't stop fucking looking at that shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad. Those German chocolate fucking pancakes they had, they end in May.
Yeah, we want to do a suicide trip of fucking Compton's leaving at fucking 12 in the afternoon on Sunday. So it's like,
man.
damn it.
Put it in the freezer, Paul. Buy it and put it in the freezer.
I'm shipping on fuck.
Yeah. All right. Oh, that was a question, right? Oh, how do you live? Thought he live in Cali. Okay. Damn, I should have asked this with Janicki on the podcast. Complete range of motion versus 90% range of motion on pull downs. Which do you get a better mind muscle connection?
I think it's easier to get an easier connection, but I think it limits your growth if you don't fully stretch. So, like, I used to actually do. What happened?
Which range? They didn't specify if it's the stretch or the contraction. Which 90%
is always going to be better. I mean, full range is always going to be better than
full range. But you said what's easier to? I thought you said what's an easier connection
to get up. Okay, but do you guys believe that everybody has the same full range of motion, or does it differ from different people?
Everybody has their own version of the full range of motion. Like your muscle can only stretch so far, and that's the goal. It's like how far can you stretch the muscle before it getting into another muscle kind of thing.
Yeah.
So your goal on a lat pull down is to stretch out the lat fully, not the delt. If that makes sense. So like you can lose your lat through the delt and then pull through your delt, and that's where people end up not working their back.
It's based on your flexibility, right? So if you go to like a physical therapist, you have knee problems, they'll use like a protractor, right, to measure your angles of degree of range of motion. Like everyone can achieve a full range of motion if flexibility is 100%, right? But we all know that's not possible. So like Joe said, depending on where you're at on that scale, your range of motion may be somewhat limited, but the goal is to actually have a full range of motion for whatever joint or muscle group that you're actually at, which is why stretching is so important. So, yeah.
And then also, I guess can you say a full active range of motion? Because I don't want you to rest the bar on your chest neither. I want you to touch your chest if you can. Yeah. Okay, but let's put it like this. Joe can pretty much touch his chest with the bar on a shoulder press, right, Joe?
No, actually, I bring it down to probably like right below my nose. I would say the lowest, because anything lower than that, it just hurts. Like,
but your chest is this high, anyways. So when I'm looking from behind, it looks like it's going up to your chest. Whereas for me,
I just motorboat my fucking self every breath.
I don't unless my grip is this wide. I have no chance of touching my chest. It doesn't look like I have long arms, but I do have pretty long arms. So when I'm coming down, I mean, there's no touching my chest, but I am getting a full stretch on my chest, right? So, like for me, would that be considered full range, or would that still be?
I don't think full range is whatever you can maximum stretch, right? So,
yeah, I think
it's limited.
I think if so. It depends on what we're talking about. If you're talking about literal terms, I think there is, if you're measuring full range of motion, you're going to measure it in a range of degrees, right? If your quad, if you can't fully extend all the way here, this is your range, and you're calling that your full range of motion, it's still not full range of motion, right? This is a full extension, a leg extension. So I think there is a proper full range of motion for a particular movement. But like we said earlier when we were talking, you got to do what's within your capability so you don't get injured. If you've never been able to have a full, 180s leg extension for yourself, you probably don't want to start doing that with 200 pounds stacked up on the weight, right?
No.
So So that's what I'm trying to say. And that
Yeah.
to be honest with you, Beatty, I don't understand the question because full range is always going to be better than 90 degrees. So
he's saying on pull downs, should he come like this or should he come all the way down? Which one is better for results? Basically, that's what he's saying, right?
Range of motion. I think he's talking
full range is always going to be better.
I thought I was talking about the stretch.
Yeah, I would try to do both to the best of my ability. Now, here's a caveat. I actually just posted a back video on YouTube this morning, right? And I have the long bent bar, and then I'm pulling down. And then somebody said, "How come you don't touch your chest?" There's zero chance I can have a long bent bar and then come down and touch my chest with the bar. I just can't do it. Even if I have no weight on it, I can't do it. But that's still full range of motion. It just depends on the circumstance, right? I don't think you actually have to touch your chest, but you have to get the deepest stretch possible, right? Right.
I mean,
that's what I was
saying. For a lat pull down. Okay, I see what you're saying. For a lat pull down, no one's pulling the lat all the way to your fucking stomach or right here. No one's fucking doing that, bro. Like, come on.
You don't need to.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like
that's how I understood the question. I thought he was talking about this way. You know?
Yeah, but what I will say that is actually proven is when you're doing a lat pull down, you see people pull to like their chest here. You actually want to pull it in front of you, like going down here. You actually get a better contraction versus trying to
on your lat. Yeah.
You actually getting a better contraction in your lat, pulling down forward versus actually pulling to your chest. But
upper back.
I don't think you need. I don't think you need to go all the way down. Like, dude, just fucking hit it where your lats. You know, you start feeling your lats.
I think since they asked me the question, they probably saw the video. So he's probably referring to touching your chest because I wasn't touching my chest in the video, right? So that's probably what he meant. When you pull it down here, you're getting your upper back. Whereas in the past, I feel like guys would be like, "Yeah, this is how you get your lats. Come really wide and pull it down here." You're actually getting your upper back and rear delts. You know, to get your lat, Ken is right. You got to bring it more forward. You know, so I guess it depends what you.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys still believe that old school theory that wider grip you get like for the lats and closer grip you get the thickness? Yeah, I think shoulder width is probably the perfect way for me with a lat pull down. Personally, that's where I feel it the most. Instead of going all the way out or close, just shoulder width all the way down. And I think
if you go real wide though, it's easier to really isolate the teres muscle, but you can't go as far down. So like if you're trying to limit the teres itself, then I think that's beneficial. But you're just going to be very limited on how far you can pull down.
To train your lat, your actual lat, your elbows want to come straight into your side. So if you actually do like a neutral grip here, it doesn't have to be super close, but a neutral grip here, you would actually be the easiest to activate only your lat. But like Joe said, if you want to get teres a little bit wider, if you want to get upper back, I don't know why you would choose a lat pull down to specifically target upper back. I think there's better ways to do it. But I mean, listen, you're still gonna work your lat. Like even if you did it wide, you're gonna get some lat, but it wouldn't be the best. I think if I have clients who have really good upper back and no lats, I try to have them do just neutral grip, elbows drive back, and even when they do rows, I try to have them have a wide enough grip so that they can pull straight back into their lat. Sometimes you get too close and they look like this. I don't want to see people do T-bar rows and they're doing this, personally. I want you to be able to get your elbows into your side, but that's enough science for Nation. All right. What are you guys cool to do drug stuff, or you guys fancy pros now?
I'm not going to do no drug stuff.
So Joe's a fancy pro now.
I just get annoyed with those questions, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna ask the question: what was your first cycle? How much AIs did you use? What AI? My answer is get a coach and do what the coach tells you. Because because if we tell you what we did, that doesn't really have any. That's like asking me, hey, what was your first diet? That really has no bearing to what you're gonna do. And the way I look at it is, if you're trying to piece together cycles from the internet, you're gonna fuck yourself up. So get a coach and do it the right way. Simple as that. And that happens to me all the time. People trying to piece together cycles. I'm like, what are we doing here? Are you trying to make a cycle based off of random guys you follow off Instagram? Oh no, I just want to see. I just want to know. Just want to know. Know for what? Oh, just just the. You know exactly what you're doing. You're not. This is not.
And it's always that same motherfucker asking the same people the same question over and over. Not the
Dude,
same people, different people the same question.
That guy with the training, right? The training question.
I'm not answering this shit.
He's done. He's done getting responses from me. at first I was like, oh, but then he kept answering the same shit. And then I see him ask you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, fuck this guy.
Anytime I do Q&As, I feel like I come off as a dick, but I'm honestly not trying to be a dick. It's just that if I answer the question honestly, there's not a straightforward answer because it doesn't work the way people think it works. What's better, push-pull legs or legs push-pull? Or it's not a better or worse. Like I don't know you. I don't know where you're at. I don't know anything about you. So the truth is that's something you're gonna have to figure out yourself, right? Or what's the best exercise to grow my lat? I can, like we just talked about, I can teach you the basic principles to activate it, but that's something you have to figure out. So when I say that, it's like, oh, this guy, he doesn't want to answer my question. He's being a dick. And that's not the case at all. I'm actually trying to give you the best answer. What you want me to say? Do T-bar rows. Bye. I mean, that's not, that would be me lying. I don't know. So the truth is that
I think we all coming up all want to know the same kind of question or had the same questions and wanted certain answers. But at the end of the day, what we're saying is like, until you try it, you're not going to get an answer. Like,
exactly.
You have to try yourself. Every question we've ever asked anybody, we've tried it ourselves. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. You just have to apply it, and that's it.
Exactly.
Just fucking try it. Just fucking try it.
That's what I try to keep in mind, that we all been there, that we did ask questions that couldn't be answered, and we all did it. So I tried not to be rude because I'm trying to remember I was there one day before. It's just hard to give an honest answer without coming across that way.
I have a solution for this. We should just build an ebook, the 5 best exercises to build a big back, put it on the Fit Nation site, and we're good.
Go. Yeah.
Send them the link. Send them the link in the Q&A. We're good.
You're right.
We'll split body parts. Joe can do chest. And
Joe does chest, Zayd, you do
right.
legs. Like, let's just do that. Call it a day.
A matter of fact,
that's a great idea.
I just take back everything I just said. We got all the secrets for you. We got first cycles. We got the whole 9. We got just come check out the website. That's all you got to do.
Payments of $39.99.
Oh yeah. We got everything you need, brother. Best exercises for lats, the whole 9. Everything's there.
They're gonna be black and white pictures of us in boots and overalls doing it.
Oh man. Thoughts? Huh? What was that?
You guys ever read the Bodybuilding Bible? It's a book where it had like pictures of different bodybuilders with their different principles and what they believe and their workouts and diets. It's pretty cool. It's basically the same idea. Like it would tell you what Kevin did for his shoulders and what Jay did for his back, or like different bodybuilders with their strong body parts and their training split.
Like there was a time where we all believed that. We all believed that, you know what? If I follow that fucking, if I follow that Phil Heath bicep workout, it's over. I'm about to have, they'll be like, oh, you want to grow your peaks? Just make sure your pinky, you twist that pinky, you're good to go. I'll be like, yeah, that's how you get the peaks? Okay. And then, it's just...
even to this day, because me and Paul kind of want to change our training split. Why? Because we just want to try it out, right? We want to do 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And give ourselves an extra rest day. So even myself, I'll look at how other pros do it. I'm not going to ask them directly. I just watch their videos. Like, okay, how do they set up? How does Hunter do it? How does Nick do it? How does James Hollingshead do it? How did Dorian used to do it back then? And I just pick what I like, and I'll put it together for my own, and I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I like it. If I don't, I go back to what I know. So it's just like, even myself, if I have questions, I look it up, and then I apply it.
Yeah.
Within reason, right? So it's just like, you can piece together and put together what you want and make it your own. Because there's not one end all be all. So just make it your own. And do it. Because the most important thing is that you enjoy it and that you recover, right?
I've got a question for you guys, because I know it's a new thing. Have any of you ever like worked with like a guy that's designing your training plan, like actual exercise training plan? I see that a lot lately with like a lot of amateurs. They're like, oh, I got my coach for nutrition. I got the guy designing my actual exercise training plan. And I'm like, bro, like I've never had to have someone design a training plan for me. You know what I mean?
Someone just hit me up to train them, to work on a one-on-one, right? And I asked him, I go, you working with anybody? And he sent me his plan from the coach that he's using. Dude, it tells from fucking A to B, push, pull, legs, push, pull, exactly what workouts to do, how many to do, how many reps to do, what weight to do. I'm like, fuck, dude, like this is intricate shit. Yeah, like, that coach has to. It's gotta be some copy and paste shit, man.
When I do my coaching plans, I say that I will provide a workout template upon request. So it's very basic though. So it's like whatever days they tell me how many days a week they want to work out.
Yeah.
And then I'll either set, like most of the time, for most of the clients that I get, it'll be pyramid setted, and that's it. So it's like,
well, I don't do it.
And I tell them, this doesn't change. Like, you're pretty much going to follow this all the time. You're in control if you want to change the sets and reps, but it's called a template, meaning this is your blueprint. What do you want to do with that? Yeah.
I understand it for general population. I'm talking about amateur competitors, like actual bodybuilding competitors. Like it's become a thing where people have their nutrition coach and then they have a training, like a guy that's designing their training. I'm like, dude, if you're a bodybuilder, you shouldn't need someone to design a training plan for you. Like if you're at Olympia level and you're trying to refine, and that's different. If you're coming up, dude, you should know how to train. Like you don't need someone to design an entire training plan for you to be able to actually grow. That's kind of crazy to me.
Well, because at that point, then it's like, what do you know, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's doing your diet cycle, posing, training, you know, they're gonna wipe your ass too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but why don't you know how to train? Now, having somebody push you in the gym is different, right? I think everybody could benefit off of that. You know, I've never had a trainer, but if I had, I mean, for me, I like it like a training partner, like Joe and Paul do that. Yeah. I personally will prefer that. But if you don't have a training partner and you hire somebody to make sure that you're staying true to your form and you're pushing yourself hard, that can make sense if you just happen to have the extra money. I don't know if you probably shouldn't invest that right away because it's an expensive sport. So I could see that, but just to design a workout, first of all, how about how you feel? Okay, so I can't train legs the way I usually train it because, you know, the knee thing, right? So I change it, you know. Same thing, if I come in the gym and my fatigue is just super high, I might do less volume. It's a feel thing. I can't just come in and just always think I'm going to just hit a PR every workout. It doesn't work that way. So if somebody's designing it, how would they know? You know?
That's what I find so interesting because, like, I guess they're seeing a lot of these top Olympia level competitors. Like, you know, they're seeing like, you know, Nick going with RP and all these guys. They're thinking, oh, they're doing that, so I need that too. They've maxed their physique. They're trying to refine and build things that they couldn't get with when they were coming up and building their own physique. But it seems like that's the thing now. Like people have an actual guy that's designing a training plan for them, and then they check it every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They change the training plan cycle. I find that so strange as a bodybuilder that like you need someone else there to structure that for you. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little strange to me.
More ways to spend money, man. More ways to spend money. And
I understand it from a business standpoint, honestly, like the more you can sell, right? But at the end of the day, I think it's useless.
Yeah.
They're the guy at Zoo that was doing his, I want to say, I think, I'm pretty sure it was his first show. And he's like, yeah, I really need a posing coach and I want you to help me out and stuff like that. And I'll pay you whatever. And honestly, I watched him pose and I'll be like, nah, you good. You don't got to pay me anything. Your posing is where it needs to be right now. You've obviously done the practice. You just don't have the physique yet. You just have to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, at that point, I would focus your money and interest and energy into actually building muscle. I don't even think you need to compete right now. And he did, obviously, he still competed, and he was way under muscled, with all due respect. So sometimes we're focused on the luxury stuff and not just thinking about the basics. You know?
Definitely.
Bro, I mean, posing is very important. Don't get me wrong. Posing is extremely important. But where he's at, he has nothing to, with all due respect, he has nothing to pose. There's nothing there. Yeah. So he should be focused on spending all his money, time, and energy on, okay, and his coach was his cousin, I believe. How about you take that money for a posing coach and pay a legit good coach? Not that his cousin is a bad coach, but family helping you out, it's not the same. You're going to be like an afterthought. Spend that posing coach money that you want to pay me. You know, I love money, don't get me wrong, but take that money and spend it on a good coach that's going to actually put the tissue on you before you can actually display that tissue. So stop focusing so much on luxury stuff. Okay, I'm working with this authentic aminos, right? And it's weird that the people DMing me, oh, I want to take that pump max, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, you don't need with all due respect, you don't need pump max. You need to fucking work out. You know, that's a luxury item. Like, you know, that's a luxury item. That's something that's benefiting me to stay full on prep. My guy.
You know what? People are fucking delusional, bro. Like, you got these kids, you know, these young kids that are, like I said, I have an issue with this, that are 150 pounds, 160 pounds, and they're out there, you know, posting posing videos every fucking day. And it's like, bro, like, what are you posing? Like,
what are you flexing?
Like, just get in the fucking gym and just train. Like, you don't have muscle to pose, first of all. You're 150 fucking pounds. That should tell you something right away. Because you have little bicep peaks or whatever. Like, dude, you're 150 pounds. You better have something, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they're jumping the gun and forgetting the most important part is the hard training. All that shit will come later, you know?
Because this is why I say people get into it for the wrong reasons, and it's clear who's getting into the wrong reasons. A lot of people, they get into it for the vanity and popularity, and it shows because you're trying to show off this thing and get some love and admiration, but you never spend the time to actually build anything that's worth admiring. When nobody's admiring it because there's nothing to admire. You know what I'm saying? Well, one of my he's my training partner, client, and friend. We trained at Zoo the other day. And the funny part, I was actually going to film some sets, but he came in and he's looking around. And he's like, "Oh my god, motherfuckers can't just fucking." He's also older, so he's old school, right? Motherfuckers can't just fucking work out. Like, I'm tired of this filming shit. So I was like, I just pushed my camera to say, yeah, man. Fuck that shit. Yeah, let's work out. Yeah, but I understand what he means. We're here. And everybody got a tripod. They got these baggy, oversized tees. Why you have a 3X on and you're 140? Like, what the fuck you got a 3X on for?
That makes no fucking sense.
Oh my god!
Some of them got the probably said dark spots still in the back.
Yeah, and then some of them got.
You know what though? I'm real fucking proud of me and Paul, man. We're adapting. We're adapting, and we're overcoming. I'm extremely fucking proud of us, man. I really am.
I'm getting there too, Joe. You know, I finally started
you just
YouTube.
Say fuck it. Yeah. I'm like, you want to be fucking successful or left in the dust? Fuck it.
Oh yeah.
Let's go be the best fuck boys we can fucking be, man.
Now you guys did it the right way. You guys built a fucking physique, you know, first and foremost. Then, you know, you're starting to, you know, and you guys aren't even at your max, you know, but you've built a physique. You took the time to build a physique. You weren't so concerned about being popular before you had anything to show. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the right way to do it. You know, everybody can do what the fuck they want. You know, we're not judging, but we kind of are judging at the same time because it's fucking annoying. So we walked in today. Guys got 3X shirts on, but they got on fucking medium, short ass medium shorts. You see skinny legs coming out of baggy t-shirt. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and they doing this. I'm like, oh man, like who is that video for? What are you how are you teaching somebody some shit? You know, when did you become the teacher? How?
Hey, and then,
You know
and then the fucked up thing is, if you find them and you go to their Instagram, these motherfuckers have like 400,000 followers. You know,
So sometimes they
looking
do,
like
yeah.
shit. Like, how the fuck do they do that?
Especially at
You know
Zoom,
what it
man.
is? I think it's because it's easily achievable. When someone looks
100%.
at something and they're like, I can do that for sure. But they look at someone like us like,
Bro,
that.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram and I see this reel. Actually, there's a couple of guys I've seen do this, and the dude's like 260, like kind of pretty fat, you know, fat with like a decent outline, and he's like this. Imagine you see me at your gym, and he's posing, and he's just like a fat guy, like a fat gel body, and he's getting like hundreds of thousands of views. This guy is swole, dude. I'm like, really? But like somebody just said, I think it's relatable because a lot of like bigger, chubbier guys be like, oh, if I work out, I could look like that. I'm like, how the fuck is he getting 100,000 views? And you got Tonio getting like 20,000 views when like what? Where's the? I don't get it. Like, why does the mediocre physique get more views?
And just some disclosure, I don't want to come off
That's
like
what I mean.
we're not trying to be mean and put someone's dream down and shit. But it's dude, you don't go into the military and you're automatically a fucking general. You know, you earn your stripes, you build yourself up, and then people are gonna listen. And it's just like, stop trying to skip steps. Like I was telling Paul, progress through passion. Like if you're passionate about something, the progress will come, and then you'll earn your stripes, man. Like don't try to skip steps because you're not gonna get the respect that you're looking for. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, you're not going to care to get clout from it. You're going to do it for you. You're going to do it because, you know, you love it, not because it's just the new thing to do.
Exactly.
And that's
the problem
that's why we have a problem. Yeah.
The problem is that a lot of these kids are seeing people who are similar ages to them that have relatable physiques, that are getting those followers, getting those sponsorships, and making a very, very good living from it. So they're saying if that guy Johnny down the block can do it, he's got 400,000 followers, he's sponsored by Dark Sport and all these guys, he's making YouTube videos at home, why can't I do it? You know, the problem is not really with the kids. The problem is the fact that a lot of companies are sponsoring and actually validating a lot of that mediocrity, and that is spinning this wheel of people just trying to get in and do that same thing. I think that's where the problem is. As long as that continues to happen, it's never gonna stop.
And we're rewarding the wrong things, you know, and
for sure.
It's sad that's the case.
I do like a Sam Sulek. Like he does it for the right reasons.
But that's passion.
That's passion, 100%.
He's still going to school and stuff. So like, it's like they ignore that part.
Yeah,
Like, dude,
in my eyes,
he's a dime amongst the dozen. You know, you can tell he's different from a lot of these other cats.
That's why he's one of the few that gets respect from us as well, as far as like people who take it seriously, right? Even Trend Twins, they're a little bit kooky, a little bit crazy, but I still have more respect for them than some of the other people.
I don't hate on anybody that puts their personality out there. If that's how they are, I think that's dope. Like, own it. That's who you guys are. Own it. But they train hard. They do it for the right reason. So it's just like all they're doing is advertising who the hell they are.
Exactly. You know. All right. That's enough bashing the upcoming generation.
That's the upcoming generation. They gave advice to a third place Olympian today, man.
we going all in today.
You guys are on the road today, bro.
We giving advice to Quinton. We giving advice to Nick.
Hey, you know what's funny though? I wonder if, like, okay, for example, I wonder if Nick thought to himself, maybe I should stop doing those heavy rack pulls.
I feel like he had. I feel like we've talked about that before, or he's talked about it before. I don't know.
I know he stopped doing the RDLs because he thinks they're purposeless at this point in his career. So maybe he just needed to hear that. Be like, you know what? I was thinking about that shit. Fuck it, I'll pull them out.
yeah. He doesn't watch podcasts like last few weeks, but he'll probably watch this one because he's done with the show.
You never know.
So what's up, Nick? Hey, Nick.
Good job, Nick. Proud of you.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thoughts on Linda Murray competing at Atlanta Pro? Linda Murray is competing? Is this
Linda
true?
Murray, like bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, Linda Murray?
Linda Murray Jr. or are we talking about Linda Murray Senior? Isn't she like in her 60s? Like,
is that real?
No,
I don't think so.
Is that like a question?
Isn't that her show? Is the Atlanta Pro not? I don't know.
Should I look? Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul?
No,
that's really happening.
July 7th.
I want to watch that.
It's gonna be free on Netflix, I believe, or something.
Oh yeah, it is gonna be on Netflix.
Well, I want to watch it.
If you look at the rules or the way it's set up, it's obviously set up to benefit Jake, right? Because of course it would be, because he's the one getting the money together and the whole thing. But the more rounds, Mike Tyson is getting paid by rounds. So the more rounds they go, the more he gets paid. That's gonna discourage him from trying to knock him out. Which is Mike Tyson's only game plan. Is always been his only game plan. So if he doesn't want to knock him out, what the fuck does he do? You don't do a Mayweather?
But he has money again. He's back in the fucking $1 million club. So does he really need the money?
Didn't Jake
I think
Paul
he just knocked the motherfucker out and shut him up finally.
I think he said something to disrespect him, and I think I'm pretty sure he get knocked out.
My only thing is, I kind of wish that Mike didn't like him, because Mike has always spoke good about him, and even in the face-offs, he's kind of smiling. I kind of want to see Mike mad at him. I want to see Mike on Halo, like the old Halo Mike. I want to see when Mike was working with Chad. I want to see Mike team up with Chad Nichols again. That's what I want to see. You know? No, I mean, listen. I mean, in any other situation, we would be like, "This is stupid. Why would you fight a 60-year-old?" But I actually believe that Mike still has that punching power. I don't think he has the stamina of a 20-something-year-old, but I think punching power, I mean, I think it's still there, you know. So let's see.
He has that quickness too.
Yeah.
He does. My only thing is that even at his prime, that even the quickness lasted about, I mean, he knocked everybody the first round, but maximum maybe 3 rounds. So 30 years later, he probably got one good round of being fast, but that might be all it takes, you know. I just can't see Jake Paul put himself in a situation where he could lose to somebody that age. I feel like he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure that can't happen. But I don't know, man. But if you had to put money up, who would you put money on?
Mike. I'm being honest. Honestly, I would take Jake, just because of the age.
Me too.
That's all respect to Mike Tyson. I want to see Mike win, but if you ask me to put money on it,
when was an emotional bet, it's Mike. But
that's the thing. But that's the thing. The nostalgia and emotions. It's like when Kevin was coming back. Now, unlike Palumbo, I didn't think he was going to win. But but because of the emotion and nostalgia, and I'm seeing the pictures, I'm like, yo, maybe top 10, bro. But I can't believe I actually thought that, because it's all emotions. So it's like, is Mike fast? Yes, this is still Mike Tyson, but it's not the same Mike Tyson. And it would be rude if we expected him to be the same Mike Tyson. Nobody at 58 is gonna be how they were at 28. It's just not possible. So is he fast? Is he strong? Yes. And any other 20-something years old, he would kill them within seconds. Jake is a legit fighter. He ain't top of the world, but he's a legit fighter, you know. So just with the age difference, and it's not like Mike has been boxing this whole time. Realistically, emotions out of it, it would be hard for Mike to win that fight, you know. I mean, how much rounds can he go with a 20-some-year-old? I mean, he just can't go the distance. It's impossible, you know. I don't know how serious they're gonna be, if they're gonna really be fighting or kind of like fucking around. I don't know.
Remember when you guys watched that movie Logan, when Wolverine takes that last like adrenaline shot, he starts fucking everybody up? That's what I want to see happen.
And don't drug test them. Let Mike take gear, bro. Jake takes gear. Let Mike take gear. Let them take it. All right. Does anybody on the podcast take finasteride or do finasteride for hair loss?
Skip.
You said what?
Skip.
Oh, you're not feeling that?
I don't think anyone does, so just skip.
I don't. I tried finasteride and I didn't like it. It kind of killed my libido. And honestly, I think if you're gonna lose your hair, you're gonna lose it regardless. If I'm being honest,
That's what I think too. Rolly Winkler, yo, you want to talk about someone like look genetics? Rolly Winkler, like if you saw him like when he was younger, he had that long flowing hair. Dude, he never lost a fucking follicle of hair throughout his competitive career. He still has a full hairline and everything. So it's genetic, man. Just
not even close,
Stu, man.
Yeah, Stu got a forehead here too.
Stu's gonna be another one, man.
Yeah. To be honest, the money you're gonna spend on that, save that money and go to Turkey. It's not even that expensive anymore. I mean, even in LA, I saw a spot that said like 4,500. And I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. Take a little, put that shit on layaway. 500 a month. No problem. You know what I'm saying? So save that money up and just get if you really care about it, get a transplant. No problem. We just talked about this earlier. What do you do to, it's kind of a stupid question, but I'm going to ask you anyways. What do you do to fill in the time in between meals during prep?
That is actually a pretty good question, I think.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, for me, I'll try to do shit. Like I said, I'll try to keep moving so I don't think about food. Like, so a lot of times I'll start my morning with fast cardio and clients, and I'll push my meals back so that my times aren't so far away when the food gets real little. And then I'll do things like little, like, for example, I'll clean my room for a little bit, or I'll fucking go talk to my mom, keep myself occupied. I'll watch a movie. That's 2 hours gone, like, watch a TV show, I'll play a video game, stuff like that to keep my mind from time. So,
that's on your off day?
On any day. I'm hungry every day.
For me, I have a job, so if I'm not eating, I am working. I'm not working, but at the gym. So, I mean, Joe, you guys have like the freedom of like, you can pick your clients and pick your time of like how you can adjust. So whoever is asking this question, if you have that flexibility of time, do like what Joe is saying. But like if you're a 9-to-5er like me, just fucking do your job, bro.
Yeah, when I at my old job, I used to work 10-hour shifts, right?
Yeah.
And I would I literally had set meal times. I would just eat them when I was at the time. But because you're busy doing shit, you don't think about it. It just happens.
6 days out the week. Bro, I'll be lying if I say I didn't think about food at all, but not really, because I'm too busy to fucking think about food, right? That one day a week, that Saturday, I'm still doing client check-ins, but because I'm home, I don't really want to go outside and do anything. So being at home all day, that's when it gets tough. It gets tough, which was yesterday. But honestly, I took naps. I ate, took a nap, woke up, watched something.
Naps help too, bro.
Naps help too. Another thing, like what Joe said, is the food is, granted, I'm 10 weeks out, so most people, the food won't be that low yet. But if it happens to be, or you just happen to have a big appetite, whatever, I kind of hold off. I know once I start eating, that's when the hunger really takes off. So if I wake up on a Saturday at like 11, I might wake up hungry. By the time I shower, brush my teeth, the hunger goes down a little bit, if that makes sense. You're so hungry that the hunger starts to go down. And then I'll just ride that until like 2-3 o'clock if I can. Once I have that first meal, now I just keep thinking about food all day. So then now at least I have 5 meals to go. That's kind of my logic. Just push it off.
To you, Beatty, because I'm in a similar boat like you, right? Low food, and like you do your cardio in the morning. Obviously, like if you take your GH in the morning too, like it actually promotes a little bit of fat loss, right?
Yeah.
As you're doing your cardio, so you're like, if I just don't eat for like an hour or two more, I could get more benefit from this. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, it helps, but it pushes back the time. And like I said, the time between meals now gets crunched closer. So The
What
quad
the hell?
business.
Yeah.
Long, man.
As long as honestly, I'm training 6 days a week because I want to go to the gym and not stay home. If I'm being honest, to the point that I was debating making Saturday like an active rest day, maybe go do some abs, cardio, something. But then I'm like, let me just let my body rest a little bit, just mentally, just be hungry. I mean, I think it's okay
Look,
to be
honestly,
hungry.
bro, I would do that too. This is the first prep ever where I have a complete rest day from cardio, from posing, from working out at all. No calves, no abs, no nothing. And my body, my mind, and everything has thanked me for it. This is the best prep ever as far as how my body feels. And this is the first time I've ever done a full rest day. And then on Wednesdays, I only do cardio on Wednesday, first thing in the morning, because I have to do it 5 days a week, and I don't like doing it on leg day. So I'll go in first thing in the morning, but then I'll rest all day. And it's not hard cardio, it's a incline walk, so it's not going to kill me. But I try to give my body real rest days, even though it's boring and it sucks. Like your body
thanks you for it. I gotta agree with Joe on that. It's funny because you would think it would be the opposite. Every single prep besides this one, once I get hungry, or once I get to a certain point in prep, I'll start doing 2-a-days, 7 days a week. So I'll do 2 workouts a day, 2 cardio sessions again, every single day, right? So maybe you would think, well, you would be burning more calories that way. You should get leaner faster. Wrong.
Bro,
I'm actually getting
a bunch of cortisol, bro,
and a bunch of inflammation. So now I'm doing the opposite, like Joe said, actually taking a full rest day, 1 body part, 1 training session a week, 2 sessions of cardio, and I'm losing weight, body fat, not weight. I'm actually losing body fat a lot faster, but not just weight. So I'm not getting smaller for the sake of getting smaller. I'm losing body fat and I'm staying full. I'm staying around. So, listen, more isn't always better, bro. And we always hear it, and sometimes we can be our worst enemy. Like you said about Nick, being a hard worker is a benefit until it's not. Then you're like, more. Motherfucker, 4 sessions a day, 7 days a week. There's no good that's gonna come out of that. I'm sorry. That's you're gonna just kill yourself. And then I would wonder, why do I feel so shitty? Why can't I get out of bed? Well, that's why, because your body is inflamed and ran through the ground, and it shows on stage. You're like, why am I smaller, still not shredded? Like, what's going? So you just gotta be smart sometimes. Even if it's harder mentally to do, you gotta do the hard mental thing, even if that means resting.
Yeah.
And just because you rest, it doesn't mean like you have to stay indoors and stay home all day. You can go do things. Like I said, like you can go run an errand. You can go to the fucking grocery store. You can fucking hang out with your mom or whatever. You can do something. You can go to the damn park. It just doesn't have to be like physically taxing on you. Like, that's it.
No. Now, is there days that you don't want to go anywhere though?
No, hell yeah.
Yeah, you don't want
to.
That's most days.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're that bored and you do have the energy for it or whatever, like, go do something.
Yeah,
you don't have to be home.
I got to be honest. When I feel like that now, when I drink that kratom drink, I feel a little better. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, man. Listen to my conversation today, bro.
You
remember you asking me, hey, Joe, what's in that cup? I'm like, just a bunch of bullshit because it's not doing to me what kratom does.
Yeah, bro. Like I'll be sitting around like, oh man, you know what? Let me do a little kratom. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling a little better. Let's go out. Let's go for a walk or something. You know what I'm saying?
Go do something.
Oh man.
This room looks like it needs to be cleaned.
No, you're good. All right. Oh, it's almost 3 hours. Okay, let's do one more question. Oh, well, this kind of is on par with the convo we had earlier. What good? Would you rather? It's stupid. I'm not gonna do that. So can we settle what grows the waist, please? I'm so confused. Wait. I gotta read this question. Somebody said, "Would you rather get?" No, let me. Not, I'm not gonna read it. Never mind. Let's go. Can we settle what grows the waist, please? I'm so confused.
Genetics, age,
Ooh.
Certain
I'd say
exercises.
genetics, age, certain exercises, and probably
Some food.
excessive force feeding over a long period of time, like years and years over time. That's what I would say.
Do you think? Okay, there's compounds that can make the waist distended short term, but do you think there's compounds that can grow the waist long term?
Yes, I think
Okay.
in combination with the force feeding, because you're accelerating growth, you're supersizing, right? So if you're growing at a very accelerated rate, everything is growing. It's not just one particular place, right? So, but that comes with overtime of force feeding in conjunction with that. That's what I think. That's just my thoughts, though. I'm no scientist. You don't have to.
I mean, I agree with Ken.
I got to be honest. I don't think we could say any better. I mean, even the order. I think even the order was the perfect order.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything I could add to that or change the order around that would be any better. Yeah, that was pretty much.
And
exactly
literally just pay
perfect.
attention to it, like know when to back off on certain things. Like I said, when I
And
noticed
good
mine,
digestion.
yeah, good
You have to be
but,
digesting
when I-
that food.
when I
Now,
noticed mine, I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do to change this so it doesn't go.
now there's also a difference between what you mean by growing your waist. Like there's distension, and then there's like side to side, like obliques, right? Sometimes some of the wider obliques actually have some of the flattest stomachs, like a Jay or Joe, right?
Chol
Because
Soon.
Joe,
Have you seen Chol Soon, that Korean bodybuilder?
oh, he had huge obliques, but a very flat stomach, right?
Yeah. That's a very good example.
I think Joe probably usually has the flattest stomach on the stage, but like side to side is when it's not as small, but from front to back there's no way, and Jay was the same way. Jay probably always had the really flat stomach, actually flat, probably more flatter than everybody on stage, but it went out this way, right? So distends, when it distends, I think that's usually digestion, food related, and like some compound related for the most part, right? Now side to side seems to be more age, maybe training. What else you say, Cam? Genetics. All genetics. Did your sound go?
Genetics.
Oh, yeah. So side to side, I think, yeah. So I think that's a good way to put it. Now if you have both, that's when it becomes a problem. You don't want to have both. You want to have both, But I think you guys want to end it there. Let me see if I could. Love the pod. Keep the pod going. Thank you. I was gonna stop, but now
I will say it's very, to all the people that I saw at the New York Pro that came up to me that said that they watched the pod. Sincere thank you. Like, dude, when we do this, I'll be honest, I'm just on here with the boys. I don't think, whatever the views are, I don't think it means anything, right? I'm just chatting with friends. So I'm always so surprised when people come up and they're like, oh, we watched the pod, we love it. So, I'm sure you guys are probably going to get a lot of that in Cali too, because I was legitimately surprised that people even listen to this shit, But thanks to everyone that supports this, and of course, like I always say, like and subscribe to BOYZ channel. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and just a heads up to you guys, for sure, I'm not going to be able to make it Wednesday. That's why I fought so hard to be on this one before I compete. So this will be the last one before I compete, and then I'll be on with you, Beatty, on that Sunday. Yeah, so the live one.
Perfect.
So excited for you, Joe, man. I'm so freaking excited for you, bro.
Like, you're gonna be an Olympian soon, bro. That's gonna be pretty fucking crazy. Yeah.
It's gonna
Paul's
be
already
fun.
been a pro, so I've seen Paul on stage as a pro, but I want to Joe, like you're.
Hey, I'm just excited to see that motherfucker on stage as you are.
Like your pro debut. So. Your pro debut, bro. It's a big deal.
I'm excited too, man. I honestly am.
It'll be fun.
Seeing the build up to this, like seeing my physique as it's gotten ready. I've only gotten more excited just because it's exactly what I envisioned when I talked to Justin about what I wanted before my pro debut. So it's better than what I envisioned, if I'm being honest, for myself.
Mhm.
And so that excites me more than anything.
I don't know if they told you last week, but I'm going to say it in front of you now. Please get the Gilco video, bro. Please get it. If you haven't gotten it already, please get the Gilco video.
I don't think he's gonna be there.
No, they won't have
No?
Yoko, but they're gonna have there's somebody that does muscle contests. He does a good
Yeah,
job.
yeah. He does.
He does a
That
very
pays
good
for
job.
the video routine. The post.
Yeah,
And the guy that does it there is
I'll
actually pretty
get
good
it.
too.
I'll get it this time. I fucked up and didn't get it last time. I'll get it this time.
Yeah.
Definitely get it because you'll be able to see how you truly look. You can't rely on the muscle contest pictures, man. Those muscle contest pictures.
I regretted it. I honestly regretted it last year with the USA's, but you know what? I'd rather have the pro debut one anyways. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah, good shit. And then also shout out to everybody from New York Pro. I think to me this was my favorite show of the year. I think pretty much everybody was on. Everybody looked amazing. We just breaking down the shows. Like it's not like nobody was like off or what. Everybody looked fucking phenomenal. We're talking about the show, so we'll point the good and bad just to be fair. But everybody was fucking crazy. And but congrats to Nick for winning the show. Congrats to Marin for that. Congrats for Marin for making it a dogfight. No, I don't think anybody thought it was going to actually be a dogfight. And he made it a fucking dogfight. So Marin, as far as I'm concerned, Martin should see that as like a win. He
So I was on my phone left to right trying to see who the fuck pulled that one out. So it was really good.
Yo, I don't think I've ever checked my phone that much in my life. Like for contest results. I checked my phone. I was taking a nap. I'm like, let me see. Okay, I'm like, damn, I'm acting like this is the Olympia. It's crazy, So
it was exciting, bro.
He still collected 17 grand too. He still checked 17 grand after Detroit, So
and he didn't even have to do that shit. He honestly didn't.
Yeah, he got a pretty nice check with it. So
yeah. We got to get Martin on. He's probably going to start doing. I'm sure he's probably going to be down to do a podcast now at this point.
Maybe too late, bro. We may not be able to get him no more.
Oh yeah, he top 5. He's your top 5 guy now. Who knows? He might not
5K.
Yeah, but he getting money now. He getting money now.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on.
All right, guys. Thanks, brother. Great seeing you guys.
Bro.
Good
luck, Joe. See you on the flip side, bro.
Oh, good luck too, bro.
Good luck, Paul. Good luck, Joe.
Good luck, Paul. Yeah, sorry about that. Good luck too.
Good
luck, Paul. Bye, guys.